we make you laugh? Aren't we fucking funny?
Does that sound right?
What's the boogeyman?
Welcome back to the Moonjuice Metal and Horror Podcast, the podcast where we live and breathe heavy metal and horror, but are afraid to shit on both of them. I'm Mike.
Fuck, I'm Matt. I was hoping you'd fuck it up, but you didn't. Oh well.
Great way to start it out. Just fuck.
What?
He did fuck it up.
I mean, come on, dude. Like, I really enjoy cutting those segments together at the beginning, dude. Like, I like going through it because I like watching it again because it makes me laugh, and then I like trying to figure out how to make it stupider. But whatever.
Yeah.
One of these days we'll fuck it up, dude. Welcome back. As we talked about on the last episode, we have a special guest. Say hello to Cierra White. She's the drummer of Oak, Ash, and Thorn and Emasculator. So say hi, Cierra.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I'm glad we got you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So Oak, Ash, and Thorn has been around for how long? How long have you been doing this with them?
Hold on. 22 would have been 10. 22, 3, 4, 5, 13 years.
13 years. Holy shit.
Oh, okay.
And how many
Yeah,
albums?
2012. We have 2 full-length albums out and technically 2 EPs.
Okay.
The very first thing we ever recorded, we were supposed to do like a part 1 and a part 2, but we ended up just doing part 1, and then part 2 ended up being our first full-length.
Okay.
So technically two EPs if you count that, plus To Gaze on Stars of Frost, and then 2 full-length albums.
Okay.
Okay.
And then one 7-inch vinyl as well with 2 singles on it.
Oh, no shit. Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't know about that one. What are the 2 songs on
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one?
that one's called Eternal, and it's got Unchain the Wolf and Distant Mountains, Distant Gods on it. And those 2 songs ended up also coming on the back end of the full length, the second full length. So
okay. And how did you become the drummer of that band?
My partner who started the band with me a million years ago was like, "Do you want to start a band? Do you want to play drums?" And I was like, "Yeah." That was it.
Okay. And you were already playing drums, though, for a while before that, I would assume.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. And I'd already been in a few bands up until that point. I had a band called Morbid Asphyxiation back in the day.
Yeah.
And the guy that I started Oak, Ash, and Thorn with, we were all in the same scene in Fort Collins, like northern Colorado.
Okay.
So we'd all go to the same shows, and we were all hanging out, partying together. So it just kind of naturally happened.
Okay. And before that, before you got into your first band that was actually like successful to where you guys were doing regular shows and going places, how long were you actually playing drums before you felt comfortable to be on stage? And there's a reason why I'm asking this. I want to put it out there, but go ahead. What's your answer?
I think so. I started around the age of 10, but I didn't really start taking it seriously until like 14.
Okay.
And then I played my first show. We must have still been in high school, because I was Morbid. I think I was 19, 18.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Before I played my first like proper show at a venue.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, so I think we'll call it like 6 years of like
grinding,
messing around in the basement, and then, you know, like a few years of playing with other people before I actually got on stage.
Okay. The reason I ask, and I mean, I kind of ask that of everybody who plays an instrument is in a band, but for the most part, I feel, and maybe you guys can back me up on this, good drummers are not easy to come by. And I think there's a few good reasons for that. So over here in Europe, everybody, not everybody, but most people kind of live in a community where the houses are neck on neck. Like, your neighbor is breathing down your neck all the time. The houses are really close together. And if you're lucky to be in a house if you're in a house. Otherwise, you're in an apartment building. And so not everybody can have a drum set. Not everybody can set up someplace where not everybody's going to complain and scream at you for playing your drums at any hour. And so I think America, just in general, because of the way people live, there's a higher percentage of drummers in one area than there are in Germany in one area. So
that makes sense.
from America, just from my hometown, for instance, I know probably 13 or 14 drummers, right?
And they're all probably in like 4 bands.
Right. Exactly. Right. But
That's
here in
usually
Europe,
always with drummers, yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
here in Europe, they're few and far between. There's just not that many drummers or people, and if they are drummers, they're not necessarily good, but there are some that are really good. It's just that to become that type of drummer, because this is the part of the band, not that guitar is not technical, right? And not that anything else is not technical, but drummers in general need more practice and more time on their instrument than I think a lot of other people do. And to get that amount of time, you actually have to have the perfect setting to get that amount of time. So
yes, I agree. I feel like drums is one of those instruments that's hard to learn, like the drum set, you know, where you're using all of your limbs, is a hard instrument to learn and also a hard instrument to master, you know, whatever like your opinion of being a master player is. I think it's hard to do both, you know.
Okay.
So definitely. And that's interesting to hear about the housing structure over there in Europe, because like over here I feel like a similar argument is like not everybody lives in a house, you know what I mean? And so like I feel like, you know, for my buddies who are musicians, they are drummers or percussionists, they live in an apartment, they're just like on their practice pads or on a pillow, you know what I mean? Like they don't have the ability to actually like set up and play loudly. But that's crazy. I mean, like I couldn't imagine being in a house and also not being able to play loudly. Like that's a whole other
you're
ballgame,
neck on neck with everybody, and I feel like the electronic drum sets are, they're not necessarily a recent thing, but it's a recent thing to be able to afford one, because we looked into it, man. Like we're in our practice room and we do as much as we can there when everybody can make it, but our drummer kept talking about the fact that he wanted more practice and needed more practice, and he's in an apartment where there's no way that that's going to happen. So we went out, looked at prices on electric drum kits, and found one that would work. But even with an electric drum set, you have to stop after a certain hour because the kick is still loud.
It's not totally silent.
No,
it's not totally silent. And I mean, even I think it's impossible to practice drums silently unless you're just air drumming. And I mean, even then, you're still tapping on the ground. So if anyone's below you, you know. But like, it's very tough for, because if you're not at your own house that you're already paying rent for, you're paying rent for a space, you know, which is more money monthly. Of course. I mean, hopefully you're like fortunate enough to where you can like split a spot with another band or another group of musicians or something. But yeah, it's tough. Yeah, for sure. I was lucky enough to have a parent who was a drummer, and so that was my dad. Yeah, and he always had drums in the basement and was always practicing, was always loading in and out of the house, setting up, tearing down, you know, making tapes and learning. He was mostly in cover bands. He's, you know, he's always been like through the years in some original type bands, but it's been mostly cover. So he's always like making tapes and burning CDs and then going downstairs to practice, you know, his like hour or 2 hour long sets, you know? So like, I just kind of grew up around it. And, you know, I just thought it was kind of normal to like, you know, have an instrument in the basement and get to play it whenever, you know? Yeah. So
now did you grow up with him teaching you? Was he your teacher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's who got me started for sure.
Okay. Was that rough having a parent teach you your instrument?
A bit. Yeah. A bit. Yeah. Cause like, you know, the parenting or lack of parenting was tied up with me learning how to play drums. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I left my house and went to a studio and sat down with a stranger who taught me drums for an hour and then I come home back to my family. It was just kind of like in my family. Yeah. You know, so there were definitely some times where like, you know, I'd get in trouble or something and then be sent to my room. And then an hour later, I'm practicing my drums and like, he's showing me something, but he was just yelling at me like an hour before. Yeah, so right. Very odd. You know what I mean? Like very odd. So
I get it.
It was tough.
I get it. Would you consider yourself lucky though, because of that too?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, I wouldn't be doing anything I'm doing right now if I didn't have that as part of my upbringing. And then also just in terms of like purchasing gear or having your own gear, you know, I grew up with a drum set in the basement. And it was like a decently nice drum set with a bunch of cymbals, you know, like good pairs of sticks, practice pads. I just kind of like, it was just kind of like built into my home life. And I didn't have to pay for a drum set until, to be honest with you, the Mapex that I have in the other room right now that I've been playing on for like, how long has it been? 11 years?
Yeah.
That's the first drum set like the first new drum set I bought. Up until I had a PDP, it was a big old two kick drum, 4 tom monster.
Yeah.
And I bought that from actually the guy I started Okashin Thorn with, that, you know, because he was a drummer as well.
Okay.
And I took lessons from him for a hot minute, and I ended up getting his drum set from him. So that was kind of like a used situation. I still bought it from him. But up until the PDP, I was just gifted drum sets. You know,
shit.
There was a company called Max, if I'm remembering that correctly. It's MAXX.
Yeah.
I don't think they're around anymore. But my first kit was a like all like shiny black Max. Toms were like this deep, you know, very, very big toms. I had that for some years, and then my dad, which was my dad's first, he just gave it to me, you know, and every time he'd get a new drum set, he would just like give me the one that he was playing on. So that was that. And then my second one was this like blood crimsony red to black fade kind of pearl. It was a pearl export 5-piece. Had that for a minute. You know, and then after that, I think I had the PDP after that. So yeah, I just had gear all the time. It wasn't a huge expense, at least not for me. It was for my dad, but you know.
Yeah. But still lucky enough to grow
on.
up with it in your household, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I know, our guitarist included, to where they had some member of the family or a close person that was a friend of the family that ended up teaching them that, and that's originally how they got into playing that instrument, which I think is cool.
I love it.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I didn't grow up in a place where anybody played any instruments.
Really?
Like, yeah, I grew up in the church, so everybody was a singer, and I was in the choir and stuff like that. But I hated it.
Sure.
I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
And so,
I bet.
Yeah, and now to be doing what I'm doing, it's like, well, that's weird. How'd that happen? But
I mean,
it's all those years in the choir, being up in front of somebody that makes that easier to be up in front of a crowd or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, that was your foundation to performance. You know, that was your entry.
Yeah, but you're lucky. Sure. I mean, to have a parent to grow up and teach you. What type of music was your dad into? What did he play?
Metal.
So no shit.
I got to shout out my mom. Here too, because I kind of got it from both sides. So my mom plays piano. She still plays piano.
Okay.
And I was an only child until I was 7.5. So she was always like, when it was just me before my brothers came along, she was always practicing. We had a keyboard, and she was always playing piano. She'd do everything from like Beethoven to fucking ragtime and like everything in between, and she would just shred. And so I got it from her as well. You know what I mean? But with that, my dad was into metal, mom was into metal. They both still are. Mom was into more of the I would say until a certain time, until about like 2000 and probably 3 or 4. I think the heaviest bands mom was into was like Metallica, Pantera. That's as heavy as she got. She didn't really fuck with Slayer too much, or like she didn't really go past that.
Well, Pantera's pretty fucking heavy, dude. I mean
Pantera's heavy shit, you know. Yeah. I mean, I grew up in a household that just worships that band, so they were on all the time. But like past that, she didn't really do any like death metal, you know. And she loved like the glam rock, Sabbath, of course.
Yeah, Sabbath, of course.
Guns N' Roses was huge. Mom always had them on too, like that type stuff. You know what I mean? But the heaviest she got was like Metallica, Pantera. My dad, on the other hand, was showing up with like Suffocation CDs.
Oh, no shit.
And like the heavy shit. So
yeah. How old is your dad, if you don't mind me asking?
He is. Oh, geez, I gotta think. He was born in 1963.
1963. So
he helped me math. I can't math.
Mike, are you better at math than we are?
What?
Are you better at math than we are?
No, not really.
So he's 63 years old then.
37 plus 25.
Yeah,
that should be his age.
He'd be 63. Yeah. Thankfully, I have a wife who's just sitting over there on her phone fucking around, and she's like, he's 63.
Amazing. Yeah, hell yeah.
thank you for being the math person in the family. I'm not.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he's older than me, and he was into some bands that were around the time that I was coming up. Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
in that case, it was kind of a natural thing for you to just head right into metal, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I mean, if anyone's listening from Colorado, you know, we had KBPI, the radio station, on all the time, and they did all your, like, you know, your radio, like, arena rock and classics during the day, and then at night they had a segment called Metal Licks, and that was all your, like, underground stuff, your death metal, your like harder thrash that was like not Megadeth or Metallica type stuff, you know, and so like I always had that on in the house. Like I said, Dad was always practicing, always making tapes, always watching tapes too. Like we used to watch. We had like a plethora of band DVDs in the early 2000s, and that we would watch like monthly. And it was like, there was an Arch Enemy DVD in there, all live DVDs, like live shows.
Yeah.
So there was Arch Enemy in there. There was Killswitch Engage. We had the 2002, the 10th anniversary of Ozfest DVD. Rest in peace, Ozzy.
Yeah.
Watched that all the time. We had like a Shadows Fall DVD that came with like the special edition of the Making of the War Within.
Yeah. I miss Shadows Fall, dude. I miss Shadows Fall. I really like those fucking guys.
They're back.
Yeah, I heard, but I haven't listened to any of the new stuff yet. But is it?
To be honest, I think there was one single. I think they've dropped a single that I was like, hell yeah, this is dope.
Okay, good.
But yeah, and there's a bunch that I'm forgetting. Did I say Killswitch Engage?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and you made Mike's little heart jump because that's one of his favorite bands.
Yeah. Oh, dude, we love Killswitch. Honestly, the Oat tour last week, Jason and I had a whole day up in the like driver's seat first mate where we just went on a Killswitch rabbit hole. Like went like first 4 albums, just jammed everything.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike can go on for hours about Killswitch Engage. I'm also a fan too, but
love that.
I think I was more of a fan of probably the second lead singer that came around like
Howard.
Yeah,
Howard, yeah.
Like,
yeah,
no, I really like his clean singing. He's got this soul thing that the other guy didn't have, and that's not to say that the other lead singer wasn't good. He's good, and he's back now.
No, Jesse's killer,
doing great stuff.
Both have strengths,
right.
For sure.
Yeah,
but I think
it was always a big question.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
You know, say it was always a big question for me which one I like more, Howard or Jesse, but it was. I could never really decide which one I prefer.
Yeah, and to be honest, like I haven't listened to too much of their newer stuff, and when I say newer stuff, I mean past Daylight Dies. I know that's a few albums ago.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
But obviously, like the first couple with Jesse, they're so incredibly good.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's just Howard. Just like I'm so emotionally connected to the End of Heartache album.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
As we are. Yeah.
That's everybody's favorite album by those guys.
I listened to that album on my like CD Walkman every day on the way to like 8th grade. I used to walk to school.
Yeah.
And the walk to school was just like perfect. If I started the album like right on time going out the door, I'd get the whole album in on my walk to school, and I did that every single morning for 8th grade. So like that's a very formative album for me for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress.
No, that whole age of metalcore was kind of, I don't know, man. That was the golden age. Everything that was coming out that was good was metalcore, with the exception of a few bands like Lamb of God. They were doing something completely different at the time.
And God Forbid too.
God Forbid too. I mean, God Forbid is one of those. Hi, Doc. God Forbid is one of those that it kind of got wrapped up in the metalcore scene. But quite honestly, I think we were talking about this before we started filming. But those guys, were in my top 5. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't exactly call what they were doing metalcore. I think they were doing their own thing. But they had some incredible cleans, just like Killswitch Engage. Like I love the cleans in both of those bands. Just like and the growling was top, but the guitar work was amazing. And they were wrapped up in all of that. And I would have loved to have seen those guys do just as good as Killswitch, because quite honestly, they were just as good.
Hell yeah.
However, it is really nice to see Killswitch back. Like, have you heard the newer stuff? You have?
I haven't. I haven't yet at all. I'm completely unawares.
It's
I
great.
just recently listened to the newest album of Killswitch. It's good. It's just
Yeah.
like the thing is Killswitch, in my opinion, had their peak at the end of Heartache. No, and everything afterward has been good. I liked it, but it never really came up to that level. You know,
Dude, the riffs.
I know.
The damn riffs on End of Heartache, every song. Like, I think one thing that Killswitch did that they were like the kings at, especially in that era, was just making groove heavy in a way that, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like who quite like nails it the same way they did, but especially on End of Heartache, I feel like some of those riffs are just so bluesy.
Yeah.
And they're so groovy. They
Yeah.
just have distortion and they're like tremolo picked, but like, or whatever, you know. But I feel like they were truly the masters of like blending the groove with the metal.
Yeah.
You know, it's so tasteful.
Yeah.
It's so tasteful.
The thing with those bands is that I feel like, and I get a lot of, you can get a lot of hate for saying this for whatever reason. I don't get it, but metalcore for me, at least that style of metalcore and what they did and a couple other bands did with the groove stuff was a natural transition from Pantera. Like for me, Pantera was groove metal. That was the ultimate pinnacle of what groove metal could be, along with a few other bands. But when they stopped, there was a whole group of new bands that came into the scene that took that sound and kind of added onto it and made it better.
Yeah.
And I feel like metalcore was kind of the natural transition from what Pantera was into the new age. And
I agree.
I would love to have it come back. And it's not to say that I don't like death metal. Obviously, I love death metal, right? We all do.
Right.
But the institution of groove into metal is by far my favorite sound. By far.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do love it a lot.
Groovy music, groovy metal is by far. Like if you ask me what I want to listen to, it's almost definitely going to be Pantera, or it's going to be somebody that's got some soul to the music.
Yeah.
Like there's a soul to groove metal that a lot of other metal doesn't have. Certainly a lot of death metal bands bring it and they can do it and they do it well, but man, some of those bands from like mid 2000s, late 2000s, I missed the shit out of that stuff. And I wish there was more.
Yeah. I agree. I feel like the thing with groove too is like there's a certain level of attitude that groovy type riffs have with the blues. Like I don't know. Whenever a band goes like literally 12-bar blues with it, I get the stank face, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like it is the exact same thing that happens if I hear an actual proper blues artist. If they just like hit a scale a certain way or their voice soars a certain way, it just like brings a different kind of attitude out of you. You know what I mean? That I think is my favorite thing about that style of metal for sure.
Well, and that goes back to the roots too. I mean, it's kind of a typical thing to talk about Ozzy and Black Sabbath right now, but it's fitting. The first album that they put out, the first Black Sabbath album, there's a song on there called The Wizard, right? And this is before anybody knew what metal was. There was no heavy metal. There was nothing like that. There was just louder music.
Yeah.
And that song is probably one of the bluesiest metal songs that has ever been produced and put out, right? Yeah. And they were the first band to do it. And so much of that, we got into this conversation with one of the other episodes we did. What was the movie we did, Mike? The one with the vampire? I'm drawing blank on the name now.
Sinners was the one.
So we just did Sinners.
Awesome.
Dude, we said on the podcast, and I'm not backing down from it, best horror movie this year, period. Fucking loved that movie.
Definitely. Yeah.
Couldn't find anything that we didn't like about it. Like, amazing. Character-wise, but the thing that I loved the most about the movie was that it was musically driven.
Yes.
It was all about music, and it was all about the roots of music, and it was all about where the sound that we nowadays call heavy metal came from. Right?
Yes.
So if we didn't have that era of people and that music that came from those people, we wouldn't have what we have now. So I told Mike, like, if you're a metalhead and you're racist, dude, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. I don't know where you get that shit.
Contradictory.
Yeah.
It's completely contradictory.
Yeah. Like that level of soul is what moved people, and that's kind of where metal comes in now in terms of like groove metal. It all comes from that, and that feeling, that feeling is the good feeling that you get when you hear really good metal. Like there's metal that you can call panzer metal, is what they call it here in Europe, and it's the droning, the drums that remain the same. There's no drum fills. It's just a bunch of chords and a bunch of mess. And quite honestly, it's got it
pretty much every, so basically every power metal band.
Well, yeah, every power metal band and a lot of black metal bands, right?
Yeah,
right.
But
I mean, I think when we get into that, I think that's where like the evolution of it comes from, is like, and what makes those genres kind of special in their own right is because like they got the soul and the groove and the power and everything, and then they like low-key kind of put their own soul into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like black metal, I think, can still be like black and roll, I think, still like maintains that level of groove and stuff. But when you take out the bluesy soul and add in just fucking pure pissed offness and anger and aggression and sadness, and like now you have black metal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
there's also a lot of groovy black metal. But there's also a shit ton of there's also a shit ton of groovy black metal too. I mean,
oh my god, you've seen, were you at Midgard's Bullet the last time I went?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see Lucifer's Child?
Of course. Yeah. Fucking awesome. Yeah. Brilliant stuff.
They're my fucking favorite right now. Yeah. And they are I think they are like the perfect example of a bluesy black and roll type of band.
Yeah.
You know, I can't speak highly of them enough. I love them so much.
What do you think about Zeal and Ardor?
I love them.
Yeah. Those guys mirror everything that I like in a metal band.
It was so moving to see them live, especially where I saw them live, for reasons that I'm sure we can all like assume. Like obviously, I don't know any of their names, but the singer, you know, he's
Swiss American.
He's of African and Swiss descent, right? So he's mixed. And obviously he incorporates that African American blues side to their music. That's the whole shtick of what they do, and the lore behind that band is great too.
Oh, dude,
I don't want to sit here and pretend like I know a whole lot about the lore. I know that there's lore that exists.
Yeah.
And I know it a little bit, but I don't know it quite enough to like speak about it.
Yeah.
But the fact that they've taken Negro spiritual music and mixed it with metal, like specifically that, like we can talk about blues and everything else, but like they like took straight up like railroad building songs.
Yes, they did. Yes.
And mixed it with metal. Like that's insane. And it's so crazy to hear because like, I don't know, listening, I feel like for all people, regardless of your race or ethnicity, like when you hear that kind of music, it just does something to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it wakes something else up in you that like nothing else can do. And so when I heard that band for the very first time, it just like shook me all the way to my core. I had chills head to toe. It was like insane. And then to see them at Midgardsploat, at a Viking themed festival, you know, in a predominantly white country, and to see everybody singing along, and everybody, like, there were folks who were crying, there were people belting the words, horns were in the air. It's just not a thing that like the world would teach you would happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like seeing that moment specifically was it changed something in me for sure. Because obviously like I'm fine, and I know that Midgardsploat is fine, and it's not that kind of fest, and it's not that kind of people, but like there was something in my psyche that was like, how is this going to be received?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't quite, this is going to be interesting. And like, I mean, homie was on stage crying for the same reason. He came out in an interview and was like, I really don't know how we're going to be received here, so let's just send it and see what happens. And he was completely blown away.
I guess that's something that a lot of people don't think about, quite honestly. Like I didn't, obviously I'm a big white guy, but I would not have thought for a second, I wonder if these guys are worried. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that. I mean, but that's not something that I would think. You know what I mean?
Well, sure. And I mean, like, you know, to that, sorry, my dogs are being nuts. You know, to that effect, I've been asked by, friends over the years, because I've been to Midgard's twice now, and it's one of my favorite places on earth. I haven't been there in some years. But I've had the privilege to be able to attend it twice, and it's like, a life-changing experience every single time. And there's a bunch of friends that I see only at that festival, and it's like welcoming and full of love and everything else. And because I look the way I do, I'll come home and like I'll have some friends who also look like me who will be like, "What's that place like?" Because they just assume that because of the imagery and the theme and the everything that like colored folks are not welcome for some reason. You know what I mean? And so I get asked a lot about that, so it's a thing that just kind of exists, like are they because I feel like the imagery with Midgard's Bloat and Asatru and that sort of thing, it really has been given a bad rap over the years when I don't think unless you've been to Ritual, unless you've been to the festivals, unless you practice it yourself, you're not going to really know that that's all just bullshit and it was just co-opted by a shitty group of people that ruined it for everybody. So there is still some of that like, yo, I'm black, is it safe for me to come hang out? And so it happens a lot. So to see Zeal and Ardor there, and like I knew it was going to be fine, but just to really see and feel that it was like more than fine was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Is it safe to say that because I haven't seen it. I mean, certainly there are places in the metal scene that are a little bit more seedy, and they do kind of have that group of people in it. I mean, I'm not going to name cities or anything, but there are some cities that if you play there, you do run the risk of running into that kind of thing. Have you personally run into anything like that?
Like face to face, no.
Well, of course not face to face. I mean, these people are a bunch of pussies. You have to believe that way.
Right. Right. But I mean, like I have like, been to a Mayhem show before and someone's like, hey, maybe don't go up near the barricade because a certain group of people is up on the barricade right now. So like I've been like under the same roof essentially.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I personally have never had to deal with it like in real time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's not to say that I'm not like cautious, because the one day where you do run into an asshole that's actually going to say or do something to you, you don't want to fucking just be like, have your guard down or whatever. But it's a thing that exists for sure. And I just make sure that like, the places that I frequent just don't tolerate that kind of shit at all. I mean, yes, like I have seen Mayhem a couple times and they tend to attract those kinds of people for sure. But I just stay vigilant, and obviously too, if I see anything going down or like warn other people, then that's definitely
it's kind of the whole you see something, say something kind of thing. Thankfully,
exactly.
I can say that the metal scene, as far as I know, it is very protective against that kind of thing. If something like that were to go down, I can't imagine a scenario. All the places we played and the places that I've seen bands. If something like that were to happen in the open, or if there was like an attack, or if somebody started some shit, it would be squashed pretty quick. I mean, we don't genuinely put up with that shit in the scene anywhere.
No.
So I feel like metal's a pretty inclusive, safe place to be. Probably more so than most genres of music,
I mean, I don't know. I know it in the States, but specifically in Europe. I mean, I've been a musician for quite some time as well, and pretty much anyone I have ever met in the scene, either musician or fan, it's just generally that type of behavior is just not accepted.
Yeah.
I mean, if any type of behavior that goes anywhere near that kind of field, the most people just instantly just walk away and tell you to go fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to say we're kind of getting away from that kind of behavior, but it does show its ugly head every once in a while. But thankfully people don't really put up with it. And that's something wonderful I can say about the metal scene. It's not tolerated. The few times that I saw something at certain festivals, the minute it was pointed out to the festival heads, those people were gone. Like the minute you're outed by somebody else, you're gone because people don't put up with it. And I'm happy about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mhm.
one thing I want to talk about, you're in two bands, specifically Oak, Ash, and Thorn. I'm a big fan. I kind of want to know how you guys came up with the theme basically of the band, because it does
Yeah.
have a heavy Celtic theme. And I'd love to know just generally more about the band and the ideas that you have that you guys put out on stage and in the lyrics. Where do you guys mostly draw most of your inspiration from? Is it stories? Is
Yeah.
it, tell us a little bit about the band for
Yeah,
people who
totally.
don't know
So
anything about it.
yeah. So back in the day when we first started back in 2012, we started out with the idea in mind that we were going to be a pagan folk metal band. Period.
Okay.
Like nothing, really, kind of nothing else. And so, actually, the first name that we had before Okash and Thorn was the Heir of Winter. Heir as in like heir to the throne.
Okay.
And so that was where we started.
Mhm.
And we some time went by and we were like, well, I don't know, this isn't really fitting. So we came up with the name Oak, Ash, and Thorn. Well, actually, I will say I did not come up with the name. The
Mhm.
guy I started the band with came up with the name Oak, Ash, and Thorn, and he felt that it was more closely tied to the themes that we wanted to be singing about and the energy that we wanted to put out.
Mhm.
And we the name came to us because there's a lot of bands called Oak, Ash, and Thorn, or of Oak, of Ash.
Yeah.
Whatever the configuration is, there's a lot of oats out in the world.
Yeah.
And what it all comes back to is an old folk singer, Peter Bellamy. He has a song called "Of Oak and Ash and Thorn."
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
we all have, even still in the band today. We've had many lineup changes over the years, but everybody in the band still has just a little bit of Celtic roots in their lineage, and so we wanted to kind of, that's
No
like the one
shit.
thing that we all had in common. So we
Okay.
wanted to kind of have that be the thing that ties us all together, and kind of just like musically add to the lineage of like Celtic folk music. And so the oak and the ash and the hawthorn tree, as we know, are the three sacred trees to the ancient Celts.
Right.
And on that note, the whole theme about trees is that they're all rooted in the earth and they're all connected underground, and we kind of use that as a mirror for humanity. And that's kind of what we
Mhm.
are trying to preach now, is like we need more connection in the world, and we need more understanding, and we need to realize more that like what happens to your neighbor is going to affect you in the
Right.
way that, like, if you cut one tree down underground, there's a lot happening there to the other trees around it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that sort of like connection metaphor. And then, so that's how the name came to be. And then what else did you ask me? What was the second part to your question?
Just specifically the lyrics that you guys use, because
Hmm.
I'm one of those people that if I like a band, there's a lot of metalheads, and you know what I'm talking about. They just like the music. They won't bother reading the lyrics. They won't,
Sure.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
Everything's got its place. If you like the aggressiveness of the music and you can't understand the words, and that's what you like, that's fine. I'm not shitting on what you like, but if you really love this stuff like we do, you want to know what they're saying. And so if I like a
Right.
band, I read the lyrics. And you guys' lyrics, it's pulled from everywhere in mythology, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of mythology in the music. There's even some Asatru in there. There's a whole bunch of different
Mhm.
stuff. But I feel like the message that you guys put out in general, at least what I'm taking from it as a fan, is just unity, right?
Yeah.
It's unity in watching what you do to other people. It's watching what you do to the earth. It's just generally being a good human being is what I draw from it. And I kind of wanted to know if that's kind of what's going on there. Like, it's a
Yeah.
positive message.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the early days, it was more about storytelling.
Mhm.
Like specifically about the gods in general. Like the song,
Mhm.
Cast into Stone off
Yeah.
the first full length, that is about One-Eyed Balor and his story. And then the song off of To Gaze on Stars of Frost, which is actually the only new song we put on that album. All the other ones are old songs, but that one, Suspended and Frozen, is an ode to Odin. And all through metaphor, obviously. The storytelling was more in the early days, but nowadays it's more personal struggle and like specifically Adam. Like Adam's our main lyricist. Jason's been writing a lot of lyrics now too.
Okay.
But you know, like for the most part, it's Adam using metaphor through like old European traditions for his life struggles, or like what he struggles with, or things that he's like working through, you know. So that's actually, whereas the first album was more about storytelling and gods and goddesses and pantheons and that sort of thing, Our Grief Is Thus is all centered around grief. It's loosely a concept album, and it's all about like personal internal struggle.
Okay.
Still, and there's still some pagan metaphor throughout that for sure. But definitely not as much as the first album.
Okay.
And going forward, the new album, where Our Grief Is Thus was more about internal struggle and strife, the new album lyrically is taking on this tone of like of outward enlightenment, essentially. So kind of more with the like connection, but more like with the collective and outwards instead of inwards.
Yeah.
Is where we're going.
Okay.
For the next one. So
I noticed the lyric change with the newer stuff, but I think even more so, you guys are evolving musically pretty heavily. Like I'd say the change from the last album to the most recent one you put out is definitely, I wouldn't say heavier, but it's definitely more intricate, if that makes sense. It feels more intricate to me. Like I think Unchain the Wolf is the one that I keep going back to. I fucking love that song, right? And it's ferocious.
It's a fun one.
The vocals have gotten more ferocious. It's gotten more aggressive in style. Like I really love the direction you guys are going. Was that kind of an internal choice, or was that just something that happened organically?
A bit of both. I seem to remember Unchain the Wolf being put on the table when things were just kind of overall spicy. You know, like in the world. I mean, things haven't stopped being spicy in the world. We know that, but just like personally, collectively, you know, like we were just out of the pandemic at that point, and like just trying to get a grip on life again, and just trying to get back to normal, and just being pissed off at the way the last 2 years has gone, or you know, all that. So all that was kind of worked in there too. But yeah, I do remember the first time hearing those riffs, I was like, Jesus Christ, Adam, like, like he was on his crust punk shit when he wrote that song, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah. It's definitely evolving musically, and I can't wait to see where you guys go next with it. Like if I like a band, I go back and I listen to the previous albums, and I'm one of those people that likes to watch a progression, and the progression of you guys' music, it just gets more and more impressive. And if any of the listeners or anybody that's watching this has not checked out Oak Ash and Thorn, you're missing out, bro. Like, you guys are sick. They have a sick ass drummer. Like, bitch is a beast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The guitars are on point. Like, I really love the riffs. I like everything about the band. And it sucks too, because you guys are one of the few that I have not had the opportunity to see live yet. I keep hoping that your guys are going to do a European tour sometime soon, so that I don't have to travel back to the States right now with everything that's going on to see it. Please give me some info.
Well, we will be.
Okay.
We will be at the end of this year, actually, and we're playing like 5 shows in Germany, so surely one of those.
That's cool.
Fucking A. Okay.
Close to y'all. So yeah, we're gonna be on tour. It's our first European tour, mid-November to early December, and we're gonna be out with Yoth Iria and Nailed to Obscurity. It's Nailed to Obscurity's first European headliner.
Okay.
So we've got the opening slot on that one.
Fucking A.
I'll share with you the flyer at some point. It's there's a bunch of shows in Germany.
Yeah.
So,
okay. If you got the flyer,
we'll get close.
If you got the flyer, toss me that after this, and I'll actually put it up on the screen so people can see it. So,
hell yeah.
Because we do have quite a few European listeners, and I mean, if we can get a few more people to the show, dude, let's do it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, that would be incredible. Yeah, we are so excited to get over to Europe. I'm really interested to see how we'll be received musically in Europe, because over here we've been told nothing other than you guys sound like you're from Europe our whole career, you know. So it'll be cool to actually get over to Europe and see what the actual Europeans have to say about it. You know.
Okay. Okay. So first European tour. How's everybody feeling about that? Everybody fucking stoked?
Stoked. Very stoked.
Okay.
Super excited. Obviously a little stressed. It's a lot to, we got to get flights and taken care of and figure out how we're going to get merch over there and all these things. But like, I think we're all experienced enough in most of these areas that we will be able to get it figured out. So like, in terms of the logistics getting over there, not terribly stressed. Just, want to just get it done, get everything lined up and on the calendar and purchased, and then just like, let it sit for a bit, which is what we're going to be doing here soon. But otherwise, as far as playing shows over there, like, couldn't be more excited. We're playing some really legendary places. It'll be our first time as a band going to all these places, but it'll be my first time going to Paris. We're doing Milan, Italy as well.
Dude, that's fucking sick.
Yeah, very, very, very excited. It's also our first tour on a bus.
Okay.
We're going to be on a bus.
Okay.
So, never done a tour bus before, so that'll be a first as well. So, yeah, we're
well, at least they've got you to kind of let them know what to expect. This would not be your first European tour. Me and Mike just saw you recently with Emasculator here in Germany. Yeah. And dude, fucking amazing show. The entire lineup was great. Like we enjoyed everybody that was on there, but I had a lot going on at the time with work and just trying to get everything straight, but I was not going to miss seeing you guys live. And you guys,
thank you guys for coming. That was awesome.
You guys fucking
it was a great show. Yeah,
killed it. You guys fucking killed it, and you were extremely well received as well. Like there were still people talking about that show, months after you left. So,
awesome. Love to hear that.
About Emasculator, was that you guys? That was you guys' first European tour as well, right?
Yeah. First European tour for the band, and first tour for that band in general.
Okay.
So.
Do you want to give us some background on Emasculator, like about who's in the band and like how you guys came together? Because you've already told me, but I'd kind of like you to tell everybody else because it is pretty cool. Like, because we saw you on stage, and you told me what show that was for you guys on stage, but watching you guys, you wouldn't know that was one of your first shows together on stage. Because chemistry's good. But tell us a little bit about the band.
Yeah. So, Emasculator is the brainchild of Malika Sundermurthy, who was formerly in Aborted off Metal Blade Records back in the day, and she's been in a slew of other bands as well. But she set out to just kind of make this badass all-female brutal death metal band, specifically brutal band. And she found all of us on the internet. The band was a band for some time before I joined. I was the last one to join, and it hasn't even been 2 years since I've been in the band. But they were a band starting in 2021, I believe, is when that maybe that first release came out, the EP. Maybe that came out in 22. I'm not sure, but anyway, the band's been a thing since 21. And Malika just very carefully, found everybody that she wanted to be in the band. She reached out to me via Instagram. I had a message request one day. And she was like, "Hey, my name's Malika. Checked out your shit. Really like it. I'm starting this band, or I have this band. We need a drummer. Here's what we do. Here's our plans, whatever." And I was like, okay. And previous to that, I wasn't familiar with Aborted. I wasn't familiar with her work. Didn't know her in the scene at all. And so I just kind of was like, I was just all very cold to all of this. I wasn't really aware, Yeah. And so I checked out her stuff, and I checked out the band, and I was like, once I heard the EP, the 2-song EP, I think after I heard Age of the Goddess, I was like, oh, this is
right.
different. Just obviously, usually when, now stick with me here, usually when someone says all female anything metal band, it comes with a certain amount of stigma with it, that it's, and I hate to say that, but it's true. It's true. Usually.
Well, I mean, I don't think we should shy away from stuff like that. I mean, it is true. Yeah.
It's true, and that's why all female bands, especially in metal, have to work twice as hard to get half as far. You know what I mean? It's because what the minute you hear all female metal band, you immediately go to something and you go, oh, sure.
Yeah.
What, you
Yeah.
just kind of like brush it off, and, with my upbringing and like the way I'm programmed, I definitely did that. I'm not even gonna lie about it. I was just like, oh, like all female, whatever. I'll check it out, but like probably not. And then I listened to the EP, and it was after I heard Age of the Goddess. I was like, oh,
yeah,
this is different.
Yeah, you guys
so,
definitely break the stigma a little bit. That's one thing that I noticed immediately, and my wife Chrissy noticed immediately. She's like, I walked into this expecting a certain thing, and that's not what I got at all. Like, you guys are a brutal death metal band. Like, it's some of the heaviest shit out there right now, in my opinion. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, even when we started working on the album too, like obviously it pushed me to my limits as far as being a drummer goes, because like I had never attempted to play anything that heavy or fast or hard ever in my life. So there was a big learning curve for me in the beginning. And I just remember like once I got to the level where I could write for the songs, like listening to them come to life and putting like pre-pro down and listening to them back and shit, I was just like, man, it's pretty sick, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, and that's me not being a brutal death metal girl, not listening to brutal death metal at all. Like, joining Emasculator has been my intro to that subgenre entirely. I didn't even touch it beforehand. So, because like, I listen to like mellow death and black and roll and folk metal and that sort of thing. That's where I come from, So like, listening to brutal death and like trying to get the chops in order to play for a brutal death band was a lot, So like, once it really started coming to life, I was like, dang, this is pretty sick, So, but yeah, that's how that came about, man. Like, we're all in different parts of the world. 3 of us are in the States, and then Malika lives in Prague with her family.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of video chatting, a lot of emailing files back and forth. Like, yo, here's this riff. Okay, cool. Here's some drums I put to it. And then just practicing at home, and we get together before a show or before a tour, and we have 1 or 2 rehearsals, and then go. So
yeah. The chemistry on stage is not of a band that I would expect lived far apart from each other at all. Like, that's not what I got. And that's why when you told me that, I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me, dude. Because the energy on stage is great. You guys complement each other really well. Like, everybody seems to be on point, like a band who's been doing this for a little while. So it's impressive to see you guys up there. And then on top of that, the venue that I saw you at is the venue that we go to all the time. Like, that's our kind of our home venue. Mike was going there, 20 years before I even went there the first time. But the stage is open, so I was able to kind of get back a little bit and get a little bit of video of you playing. And you're straight up killing yourself with that band, dude. Like, you are completely enthralled in the music the entire time, and everything's moving so fast you can't really see what you're doing. Like, it's really powerful shit. Like I said, I haven't been able to see you live before. This is my first time, and extremely impressed. And I told you that too. Like, extremely impressed. Like,
thanks, man.
You're a fucking fantastic drummer. And I can't wait to see what else you do. Are there future plans with Emasculator in terms of like another album after the one that you guys just put out?
Yes, there will be another album. Not quite sure when it's slated to come out just yet, but I know there's going to be, I think, a couple singles before that.
Okay.
So there'll be some new releases probably next year at some point, I would imagine. But the things, we've got 2 shows currently that we're gearing up for. There's New Standard Elite Fest in so there's NSE Fest in Texas in November. That's actually I think like the weekend before I fly out to Europe with Ogash and Thorn, so we're getting ready to go play that. And then we're also playing Maryland Death Fest next May.
That's awesome. That's fucking awesome. That festival is a go-to for a lot of people.
I'm excited. I've never done it. I've never been to Maryland Death Fest, so very stoked.
You are by far one of the most busy individuals I know in metal. Like, I know quite a lot of people in metal, but you are always doing something. You've always got something up that you're doing for one of your bands. You're in it, and it's obvious if you watch either one of the bands that you guys really love what you do, but you gotta fucking get burnt out, right? Like
Oh, dude.
I watch
Yeah.
what you do, and you're like a bee. You're just from one thing to the next thing, and oh shit, I got to do this, and oh shit, I got to do this. Would you say that it gets tiring? Because we don't do near the stuff that you guys do, and we're fucking beat. So I don't know how you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's extremely tiring. I mean, especially with a band existing the way Emasculator does, right? Because like I mentioned just a second ago, none of us are in the same state,
Yeah,
or even part of the world. Like I'm in Colorado, Morgan's in Texas, Ria's in California. Our fill-in bassist Riley, she's in Nevada, and then Malika and family are out in the Czech Republic. So getting together weekly or bi-weekly for rehearsal or practice just doesn't happen,
right.
So we've had to adapting to that has been tough, but what we've learned is like, because for a while there we were doing bi-weekly video calls like this, where we just kind of like catch up, talk about upcoming things, goals, deadlines, flights, just kind of, we had like it was like a twice a month meeting, that helps keep you on track. And then everybody just stays practiced up at home. You practice on your own time when you can, run the set when you can, write when you can, that sort of thing. And when you have something to share, then we're emailing or like sharing files over Google Drive and stuff, which is sweet, because it kind of, not having to get together weekly or bi-weekly, it's nice to not have that sometimes. As long as everyone's doing the work at home and you can just stay home and kind of like conserve some energy and save some gas money and save a few hours of your time and just stay at home, it does kind of like it helps. And it's nice to be able to just like fly to whatever state the tour is starting in or the show's in, rent a rehearsal spot for 2 days before the gig, run the set 3-4 times and call it good. Like it's been really cool to actually like maintain that. And Oak Ash and Thorn very much does the same thing. All but one of us are in Colorado, so we could get together weekly, and we used to, but now we don't. So it's cool to just like stay at home, practice at home, and then get together with the crew when it's go time. You know, that's been cool. But when go time is all the time, it's just constant. So
do you find that after a while, because you're on one tour and then another tour, and then of course you've got everybody that wants something from you, which unfortunately with this business is kind of, it's always a gimme thing, right? So if you're in a metal band and you're moderately successful, you have a bunch of people who want something from you all the time. And then to kind of see what you on the other side come out with is pretty much, if you're like us, and I assume pretty much everybody is, because music, whether we want to admit it or not, has kind of been deprised a lot. Like what the artist gets in return for what we do is very minimal. So you really have to love what you do, right? And just accept the fact that if you love this life and you love this music and this is what brings that spark to you, you are almost doing it for free. And then at the same time, you have everybody that wants something from you, and it's probably really easy to get burnout. Do you get burnout with everything you got going on?
I am burnout as we speak. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's very, and honestly, the burnout is something that I've just kind of recently arrived at.
Yeah.
Because I think like I do love this work and this job and this environment and the whole of the everything that comes with being in a band. Because like these days, you can't just be in a band anymore. You got to be good at being in a band, which is like a set of 10 really crazy specialized skills, right? But you also have to like be good at sourcing merch, be good at selling merch, be good at photography, be good at video editing, be good at content creating, be good at scheduling. You have to be good at driving. Can you drive with a trailer? Can you respond to emails in a timely fashion? You got to do all these other fucking things. You know what I mean? And so like I really do enjoy every aspect of it. But I've been going so hard for so long that I'm just now recently beginning to be like, maybe I need to slow down like a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and when I say that, I it's been the change from going from like local musician to non-local musician, right? And like I haven't quite I'm not like crazy big famous by any means, but I've toured nationally, I've toured internationally at this point. I'm in 2 rising bands. Like I would like to think I'm a little bit above being a local musician, which and there's nothing wrong with being a local musician. If that's what
everybody's got to start
I've
somewhere.
Always wanted to, yeah, exactly. I've always wanted to do more. Always, that's always been the goal since day one. So like now that I'm kind of getting up a couple steps, it's been that part that has burnt me out, because like when I first when Emasculator came knocking, and when Okash and Thorn signed with Season of Mist, it was the same month, like almost the same week.
Yeah.
Like almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so since then, it's been like a steady incline of like doing stuff. And when I first confirmed both things in both bands, I was like, okay, like I've been able to make a name for myself in the local scene by being in 5 million bands at all times and playing out as much as I possibly can.
Right.
So that like I'm everywhere all the time. And I was like, that's what I have to do at this next level too. Like, I gotta like play with these bands, my bands, but also be filling in for bands and trying to get other touring gigs and this and that. And I just got to do the same thing at a higher level. And what I'm learning is that it's almost impossible if I want to like maintain some sort of like personhood,
right?
You know, like it's just. I mean, even just this year with the 2 Europe runs with Emasculator, the week run with Ode, and then the European run with Ode later this year, just with those things alone, I'm just exhausted, you know. And there's been like a month or 2 or 3 in between each thing, you know. This from now, beginning of this week till we leave in November, will be like my longest break this year, which is like almost 3 months.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Of not traveling. I'm still working. I still.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like things stop when you have a break. Like it never stops.
No, I'm still trying to work and like pay rent here.
Yeah.
You know, and so yeah, this will be my longest break, and now that I've have a little bit of time to like take a deep breath, I'm just like, okay, something about this is not sustainable. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So lately it's been a lot of like, okay, how can I make my money, but also keep a schedule so that when touring opportunities happen, I can do them.
Yeah.
And find some sort of balance and rest in between. You know, it's a very, very hard thing to balance.
Yeah.
You know,
that's one of the things that I'd love to have more people on here like you who are willing to talk about it, because I feel like once you step into this world and you kind of see everything that goes into it, especially now, I think there's more pressure on musicians now for content than there ever was. Like you have to constantly put out content. You have to constantly stay relevant in some way. And a lot of the times you don't really want to do it. Like there's times where you're like, fuck, we have to do this now, because if we don't do this, X, Y, and Z is not going to happen. And if we don't try to get emails out to get booked here, and here, then fuck, man, we're not going to make it anywhere. So even in your downtime, there's a constant pressure to succeed. And I think it's safe to say musicians now, and probably more so metal musicians than anybody else, because a lot of this is very homegrown stuff. I'm not sure a lot of people who say they're metalheads really understand this, but the metal scene in general is a very organic, homegrown thing where almost everything that you do, and as successful as you are, is based primarily on what you do, right? Content, music, shows, getting yourself out there. It's a lot of work. And so when you are a fan, or like me, fan turned someone in a metal band, you don't realize until that point how much work this shit actually is, and how much of your free time and your life you end up giving away to this thing that you love for sometimes what seems like nothing in return, right? And not necessarily monetarily. I mean, we're not necessarily making money. Almost every metal musician has another job that they have to do. You have to pay rent. You have to do all this stuff. Bands don't really make money. And so the ones that do become successful, like your two bands and like our band and any other band that people have heard of, it is a shit ton of work. And so when you go and you see a band, right, it might not necessarily be your style of music. It might not necessarily be something that you would go home and play. But maybe think twice before you talk shit about a band or say that that band sucks or whatever, because the amount of work that goes into getting successful enough just to make it to stage is something that most people can't even imagine, right?
Yeah, dude, it's so much organization.
Yeah.
And money of your own.
Yeah.
To get you there.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the other thing a lot of people don't understand is that musicians come out of their pocket, specifically metal musicians will come out of their pocket to make something happen without really getting much in return. And so you really do have to love this stuff. And so when you see somebody like you who is successful and traveling Europe and, you know, living the life that most metal musicians want, you have to look at that person and just kind of be in awe of it because it is a shit ton of work. And it is easy to get burnt out, you know, like you said.
Yeah.
So props to you for doing so well. I'm super excited as Mike is and everybody else in my band to see what you guys do next with Emasculator and Oak Ash and Thorn. And I just wish you the best, dude. I think you're great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That the encouragement really, really, really helps. Seriously.
Yeah.
Like if kind of like you said, like if you see a musician or you're a fan of a musician or a band or whatever, like just saying like, yo, I see you.
Yeah.
It really goes a
Support,
long way.
man. Support.
You know.
The best thing you can do as a fan is support. Tell them you like the stuff.
Yeah.
Write them on their Facebook page. Let them know that you love what they're doing because a lot of the time that's all we get, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely that.
So as much as I would love to get 2 songs on here from both your bands because I love both of them, I let you pick the one that you wanted to play.
Indeed.
So we are going to do Auras, right, from Oak Ash and Thorn.
Indeed. Yes.
So do you want to give us some background about the song or would you rather listen to it first and then come back and talk about it? Your choice.
We can talk about it now.
Okay.
Yeah. So Auras, I believe, was the second single that we put out off of Our Grief Is Thus.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is the first music video for that album. We did 2 music videos, Auras and Dying Culture, and Dying Culture came out after.
Yeah.
And in terms of where we're at right now as a band, it was this song, and specifically, I shouldn't say just this song. It was Our Grief Is Thus as a whole.
Yeah.
But the music video for this song is really kind of partly. There's 2 big parts to where we are right now, and the music video is a big part of that. And it's funny because when we went into the studio, we recorded at the Blasting Room here in Fort Collins, Colorado, with our good buddy Colton Crone. And when we went into the studio, every single song was finished except this one.
Okay.
It was the most undercooked of the batch of songs. It was not finished.
Okay.
We had like a rough outline skeleton for it and like a little bit. We had a first verse, chorus or whatever, and we had the lyrics and the chorus hook, which was written by Jason.
Okay.
So we had a few big pieces, but we didn't have the whole thing totally fleshed out. And it was the last song that we recorded as well. At the time, it was the absolute fucking bane of my existence. It was like the last thing we got into after a 14-hour tracking day or something. And I was just like literally crying at my drum set. Like I just wanted to be done.
Right.
So all that to say, it was kind of like the biggest problem child of the album, but it ended up being one of the, in my opinion, greatest parts of the album. And then when it came time to shoot the music video, we worked with our buddy Corey Presley for that. And if you guys, like, we're going to listen to the song here, but if you guys do go watch the music video for it, know that what you're watching is the first cut of the video that he gave us. That was the first draft. We had 0 notes.
Okay.
We had no changes. We had no nothing. So it was really just kind of like lightning in a bottle, that song and video, and ultimately was the thing that helped Season of Mist come knocking at the end of the day once we were before we put that out. So it's very, very special song for a lot of reasons.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll play the song, and because there's a video for it, I'm not sure if I can embed a video in here, but what I will do is put a link on the screen. So if anybody wants to go link the video and go check it out, you can do that from the podcast, which is cool. I love technology. It's fucking great.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So yeah. Okay. So here is Auras from Oak, Ash, and Thorn. Enjoy. So fuck yeah, that was Oars by Oak, Ash, and Thorn. Dude, so in terms of like musical progression from when you guys started until now, it's literally night and day. Like, not that
Yeah.
the other stuff was bad, because it wasn't. It's great. But the I don't know, the vocals are they're just they're better. Like his vocals and his tracking of his vocals and just the power behind his vocals have changed so much.
Yeah.
Like for the better. And then like the way the song is built, the structure, the mixing, everything about that. So that's an epic fucking song.
Thank
And I'm
you.
sure you probably feel the same way, right? Is it cool to see the transition for you?
Yeah, it's been great. I think the coolest thing about it has been being able to see what we're capable of in different environments. And what I mean by that is the biggest difference between the first album and the second album is that there's a different group of musicians, right? Like
Yeah.
the only people who are still in the band that are on the first album are me and Adam. Adam was doing vocals, I'm doing drums still. That much hasn't changed. But now we have Eric and Jason, and now
Yeah.
we have Caden. Caden hasn't been on a record yet. He's been the newest member to join, but
Yeah.
but on Our Grief Is Thus, we have Jason and Eric. Jason on guitar, Eric on bass, and those guys. I mean, I no disrespect to Adam, but like we didn't have a bassist at the time of tracking, so Adam was doing guitar and bass.
Right.
And there were some other people involved in the band at that time, and just the group of people that we have now is just better.
Yeah.
And the music, I think, is a complete reflection of that.
Yeah.
With like everything from like song structure to the notes that are being played, the ways they're being played. Jason has really done a lot to push our sound in a certain direction. He has such a knack for writing really amazing melody hooks. Like for example, the chorus in Auras. Lyrically, the words themselves and the way that they're sung was from Jason. I mean, mostly,
Okay.
I should say this song is mostly Jason.
Okay.
And then the middle section, that big kind of like tremolo, Amon Amarthy, double bass, sorrowful sounding part.
Yeah.
That's an Adam. That's an Adam section. But the rest of it is predominantly Jason, and so he's always been amazing at writing the hooks and the melody lines and the vocal, like what the vocals are going to do over a riff kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he just excels at that. And then Adam, of course, he's been working on his voice since May Every Altar Linger, and I think one of the big things that we did this round that we've done recently, with the bringing in of Caden from Solemn Vision, is we were able to cut Adam loose from guitar live. Yeah. So Adam we used to just be a 4-piece, and Adam would do guitar and do vocals at the same time. So he was very much tethered to this one spot, and there's, for him, I don't want to say for everyone who plays guitar and does vocals live, but for him, there was only so much he could do vocally, or so much that he wanted to do vocally while he was also playing guitar. Yeah. And he was really feeling an urge to like be just completely cut loose from having to play guitar live. So we were like, well, obviously we got to find the right guy to come in and play guitar and all these things so we can cut you loose. And then enter Caden, and it's been great ever since. So now that he doesn't have to play guitar, he can do so much more with his voice, and he's comfortable doing it, and he's really been able to push himself and just do bigger and better stuff, and he's been working on it every single day. On that note, while we're here, literally, while we were in the studio doing this song, like I said, we recorded with Colton Crone. He's in a really sick band called Hated, if you guys want to check them out. He plays guitar. Yeah. He was our engineer, and he also took on some producing roles as well. And we also had our old buddy who did our first album, Taylor Hahn. We brought him in as producer as well. And while Adam was in the vocal booth doing these takes, they both were kind of like, you know what? I think this could all be better. Why don't we? What could we do? Right? Because Adam, originally the chorus was sung an octave lower. Okay. And both of those guys, Colton and Taylor, were both like, I think I think we can do more here.
Yeah.
So they really helped Adam like get out of his comfort zone and push him into singing that chorus a whole octave higher. And Adam was like, "Oh, I can't do that." And they were like, "Just try."
Yeah.
And then what we got on the album is what came out of that. And
Holy
then
shit,
when we
dude.
were listening back, like before there were any edits, before there were any mixing,
Yeah.
anything, we were in the room all together as a group listening back to it, and we were all just like jaw on the floor because we had never heard him do that before.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Is that me? Holy shit, I guess I can do it." You know, so kind of since then he's really been like,
Yeah.
just pushing the boundaries of what he can do as an artist, and it's been great.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it really does take the whole band. That's the other thing. Like if you have somebody that really wants to do something but they're unsure of their ability or they're not quite ready to do it, sometimes it takes other people in the band to push a little bit. You know, we've had a
Yeah.
little bit of that too. And if everybody supports each other and everybody is enthusiastic about what you're doing, I mean, as you know, you're shocked by what you can push out of it, right?
Yeah.
His vocals on this song, it's almost like it's a different person. Like there's so much power behind the cleans on this
Yes.
that it almost floors you. Like it's a huge difference.
Yeah. And I mean,
wow,
you know,
props to
Jason
that
on the
dude.
backup vocals as well. Jason's harmonies really just like
So that's okay. That's both of them. No
send
shit,
it all over the top as well. Yeah.
dude. Fucking sick song. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I hope we can expect more of that, dude. I really do. That was great.
Yeah,
That was great.
awesome.
I hope everybody enjoyed it. If anybody that's watching and listening likes the band, I'll put up some more information about the band on the podcast so you can actually go to you guys' page. And do you guys have a website right now?
We do. It's called oakashandstore.com.
Okay. 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 Anything else that you wanna plug or put out there? Where people can reach the band or maybe buy some merch or anything like that?
Yeah, sure. So we're on most social media platforms. It's Oak Ash and Thorn Denver on Instagram and TikTok, and then Oak Ash and Thorn on Facebook. Just look for our logo, the sigil. Like I said, there's a bunch of Oak Ash and Thorns. We are the 1, 1 ampersand for
Okay.
Oak Ash and Thorn. So in the spelling, that's us.
Okay.
Same thing with our YouTube, Oak Ash and Thorn on YouTube. And then, like I said, oakashandstore.com. That's where you can get music and merch. There's a message box there too if you want to send us a message there. We're way more responsive over Instagram or Facebook, I will say. So if you want to like write us something, Facebook or Instagram is the way to go. And then we've got that tour in Europe later this year with Yaththeria and Nailed to Obscurity. And then after that, it is full steam ahead on the first album for Season of Mist. So
Okay. Fucking awesome. And you said you guys
Yeah.
don't have a release date for that yet, but
not
when
yet.
you
No, we're not even. We're still writing it right now. So
okay,
kinda-
yeah, I know how that is.
yeah,
we
we'll
got
have
the
an
same
update
thing
that
going
at
on
some
right now.
point. Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
Yeah. All right. So we are now coming up on the part of the podcast where we go over the movie that you chose, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
everybody that watches and listens to this podcast know that most of what we do, we'll talk a little bit about metal, but when we have a guest, we really get into it. But we also ask each guest what movie they wanted to do. And one thing I didn't ask you, and I wanted to, so shame on me, is Emasculator specifically is kind of a metal horror band. Like a lot of the lyrics are very horror oriented and they're very dark. Is there any influence specifically that horror has had on what you guys do there with Emasculator?
So maybe yes, a little bit in that we are a brutal death metal band, and that and like brutal death metal specifically, I feel is the like extreme horror of the metal world. You know,
Yeah.
like it's all metal and it's all kind of dark and scary and angry and hard and heavy, but like the brutal death metal side of it is all of those extremes just like melted into one big pot. You know what I mean? So just on us being a brutal death metal band, yes, I feel like horror and that sort of extreme in general does have something to do with our sound. Lyrically though, it is quite dark, I will say.
Oh, it's very dark. I love it.
It's Malika's writing is absolutely incredible.
The artwork is also sick as fuck too.
I will say she painted that cover herself.
It's fucking awesome.
Malika's a very talented artist, and she painted that whole cover by hand herself.
Okay.
But I think what makes Emasculator a little bit different lyrically is that the lyrics, while they are dark, it is more about the goddess archetype.
Right.
And the darker side of female empowerment and sacrifice and giving and receiving and all those feminine things, you know what I mean? So I think that mixed in with the brutality really probably gives it a little bit, like, I would say it's like horror adjacent, you know, like through like a feminine female lived experience lens, you know?
Yeah, I get it. Okay. Yeah, that's the part of the music that I really, so like I told you, I like to read lyrics. So I went back and read the lyrics to the latest release you guys did, and it is super fucking dark. It's
epic.
very dark.
It's very epic too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it, like, you know, epic is probably not an adjective that most people would attach to Emasculator in the ways that you would other types of metal, but the stories that she's able to weave with her lyrics, you know, all being about goddesses, like, it's insane, you know? So thank you for going and reading those lyrics, by the way, because a lot of people, they stop at her name, you know?
Yeah,
like,
I get that.
Like, they stop at the name, and because we play brutal death metal, they're like, oh, this shit's obviously about cutting up men and fucking blah, blah, blah. And, like, obviously the name itself, like the tool in Emasculator that, like, fixes horses and shit, yes, that's what that's called, and that's what it's used for.
Yeah.
But, you know, the name itself is triggering on purpose, you know, because we want
it's
we want
supposed
to call
to be
you
in your
with
face,
that.
right?
Exactly. And it's brutal death metal, you know, it's extremes. And, like, you know, if, like, you think of the most disgusting fucking brutal death metal band name you can come up with, and the imagery, you know, I think what we're doing is, like, not that intense comparatively, but because we're all women and because the name is what the name is, you know, we catch a lot of shit for it. But,
well, I mean, I think we should let everybody draw their own conclusion from music. It's every album, every song is something different to somebody else. I might hear something completely different in a band that we both love, and you might like it for different reasons than I do. The message might be completely different for you than it is for me. That's the fun thing about music. You can draw your own conclusion from it. It can mean whatever you want it to mean to you, right? And yeah, go ahead.
Just really quick on that, I want to mention also that, especially with Emasculator, people see what they want to see, and they hear what they want to hear, and they kind of end up telling on themselves in a way, because we tend to end up being a mirror for people, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, we bring out different things in a bunch of different people and a bunch of different kinds of people. For example, to be honest, I haven't met too many women who are like, I don't like what you're doing. You know, mostly all the girls that we talk to, like, all the girls are like, yes, we love you, thank you, like, I feel supported and seen, and you guys are fucking great, whatever. All the girls are like that. When it comes to the men, there's like one of two things that happens. We either get dudes who, like, are comfortable in who they are and understand the necessity of why a band like Emasculator exists, and they're like, hell yes, we support you, we're here for you.
Exactly.
I have, we have a lot of fathers of young girls who are like, thank you for being a role model to my daughter type shit, you know what I mean? Because I want her to know that you can do all this while being a woman.
Exactly.
And the support is endless. So we get those guys, or we get the guys that go straight to violence, that go straight to hate, that go straight to, you know, what's the opposite word for misogyny? I know it exists. Help me out. But, you know, thank you. That. Okay. They go straight to that. And, like, yes, I understand the name is triggering in that sort of way, but we want to bring you in to and show you, like, a different thing.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
I mean, guys like that, in my opinion, are just stupid.
We do kind of. I mean, especially, like, because they don't want their minds to be changed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The thing is, for one, it's brutal death. No, so anything in brutal death is going to be extremely disgusting and triggering. No,
exactly.
So usually when it comes to brutal death, and I see, you know, sometimes even bands name that I think in my first moment are offensive, my first thought be, how exactly is it meant?
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's the next thing when it comes to music, specifically in art. You never really say how it is meant, because very often it's meant to be provocative, just provocative to be provocative or be thought provocative. You know? So I was always the kind of type when I hear stuff like that, I would just genuinely ask a question, how it is meant, and blah blah blah. No, or just walk up to the band and ask them how they meant this and how they meant this. You know, instead of just
right.
But if you see like something like that and you're just instantly so triggered by it that you have to go out and I don't know, call people names or be hateful towards other people, it's just kind of stupid. I'm sorry. To me, to a certain degree, people like that are just dumbasses.
No, and I agree. It just when people revert to that, to me that says I'm not willing to have my worldview changed or upgraded or be willing to see something from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And if that's you, cool. That's not my problem.
Yeah.
That's not going to stop me or us from doing the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and you're going to have people that like you and people that hate you and people that don't want to listen to the music just because of the name of the band. But quite honestly, I think you could probably agree with this, as I'm sure most bands do. We don't give a fuck. We don't care. Like if you don't like us, don't like us. If you are too stupid to pick up a lyric sheet and read it for yourself and make your own decision, then I don't really want you listening to our music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's kind of the way I see, most bands. Like you want to be the subject matter expert about what is metal and what does metal mean and what's metal and what's not metal. But you yourself are not willing to pick up a lyric sheet, read it, and see what the band has to say. And for me, that's what metal has always been about.
Right.
It's been about a message. It's been about struggles. It's been about hate. It's been about fear. It's been about the things that we experience as human beings that are tragic and hard, and that's what the music is about. So if you're willing to call yourself a metalhead and then don't want to bother listening to what a band has to say, then can you really call yourself a metalhead? I can't.
Right.
I can't.
Right.
So I think cheers for what you guys do. I was raised by a single mom of 4 kids with a dad who left when I was 14. I don't have a better example of a strong person than my mom. So if you hate females and you don't want to listen to what they have to say because they're females and you want to talk bad about female bands, leave the fucking scene. That's where I'm at with it. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care what your sex is. I don't care about any of that stuff. I want to know if your music's good, if you're a talented artist, and I want to know what your message is. And I think that's the way we should all look at it, So
absolutely.
Props to you guys for what you do. I fucking love you. And Chrissy won't quit talking about you. So by the way, we have to get some merch from you guys because we bought the wrong shirts. I think she told you that.
Yes. And sorry about that. I don't know how
no,
it's
actually our fault. I got in a conversation with one of the other bands who I also really liked and was just talking and picking up shirts thinking it was yours. It's okay. I like the band that I got the shirt from. Thankfully, Chrissy got your pink shirt. Your last one.
I was gonna say, hope it wasn't that one because those are not coming back.
No, she got that one. So we do have like the pink emasculator shirt. Thank goodness. Yeah. So I'll hit you up for merch later. I'll go on there and buy some stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and a note on that: if anyone in Europe wants to buy merch from Emasculator, our Bandcamp is where you go for that. So I think it's emasculator.bandcamp.com or emasculatorbdm.bandcamp.com. Just Bandcamp for Europe stuff. Okay. Yeah. As you're saying stuff, there's going to be that on the screen, so they can click on it if they want to. Hell yeah.
Cool stuff.
Very
I
cool.
love editing software. It's fantastic. Oh,
hell yeah.
Anyway, so the movie that we are going to do is one that you chose, and after watching it now for the second time, I have to wonder why this movie is not a staple for a lot of reasons, right? People love Trick or Treat, which I wasn't really crazy about that film. I thought it was okay. But
I'm not crazy about it either, but I liked it.
Yeah, it was all right. There's holiday movies, and this specifically is a Halloween holiday movie that in my opinion, should be a staple. One, because it's extremely gory. It has a fucking great story. And the acting's brilliant, as well as the cinematography. This is very much an art film, like we had discussed before we started filming. And so what's the name of the movie we're doing, Mike?
Dark Harvest.
Dark Harvest.
Yeah.
This one came out in 2023, right? And I think I saw it in 2024. It just popped up on my list and I watched it and I was like, that was fucking great. And then when you mentioned what film you wanted to do, I was like, that sounds familiar. Fuck, I need to go check that out. And sure enough, I'd already watched it and I liked it. So it
Hell
was
yeah.
kind of cool to be able
Sick.
to watch it again. Why did you choose this movie specifically?
For all of the reasons that you've already kind of said, that it's an exceptional movie. It's beautiful to look at from a production standpoint. It's very, very pretty. The storyline's great, the acting's great, and it's like a very not well known movie for
No.
whatever reason. And
No.
yeah, my partner and I have watched it probably 200 times since we saw it in 23, and we were just like, why is this not a big thing? You know, I will say it was a book first. I don't know if you guys have seen the
It
book
was, yeah.
or read it.
I didn't read it, but I've heard that it was a book first. Yeah.
I also have not read it yet. We do have it finally. We got it ordered, so I gotta knock that out. But and so all that to say, in terms of, is it true to the book or not? I don't know. If anyone out there has read the book and seen the movie, please let us know. But yeah, the movie's just absolutely incredible, and I loved that there are nods to certain pop culture things throughout it, specifically the band The Misfits.
Yeah.
If you're not a fan of The Misfits, you're probably not going to pick up on all of them.
No.
But there's one obvious scene, where they have the masks. Obviously, that's the Crimson Ghost.
Right.
But like the little bits throughout where like certain like albums or whatever are mentioned, I thought it was tasteful. I thought it was cool. I've never really seen a movie do that before because it kind of ties it to the real world a little bit.
Yeah.
Which was cool. So anyway, yeah, I thought it was absolutely great.
Yeah, it also does a lot of the musical tie-ins and the imagery. I guess the word would be kind of retroactively, because this movie takes place in 1962 and 1963. So at this time, heavy metal and punk was not really a thing, right? This is before all of that. So the fact that they were able to tie that in and give that a name in the film is pretty cool. But I honestly think that these are the stereotypes that music was drawing off of anyway.
Right.
So 1962 and 1963, that whole era, you had the Greasers, and you had, I guess, if we're talking about a formal name from a book, it would be the Socias, right? So you had the Greasers and the Socias. And so you've got a lot of slick back hair, black leather jackets, cigarette packs rolled up in people's sleeves, just very typical 50s, 60s kind of stuff, dude. And it's cool to see that in a horror movie. I'm glad they picked this era, because this era, I'm not sure that the subject matter would have fit as well in another period.
No, and to that effect, I think it's, putting it in a decade where technology wasn't fucking anything yet was key, because these days, if some shit happened like that, everyone's got their smartphone, everyone's got hey, whatever phone you have, call so and so. Like, it just wouldn't work. There's cameras everywhere, everyone's connected. So the fact that like all this goes down and there's no cell phones and there's no just like way to get a hold of somebody, you are kind of, if you're not at home, you are kind of isolated. There's no internet, there's no nothing. Like, that just adds a whole level of like spookiness that we're not used to these days, with everything being on such high demand. You have your best friend up on the phone in like a second. So yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Hey, you have to wonder how many kind of urban legends and stuff like that actually had a place in reality before all this technology came along too. But I mean, that's a whole nother discussion. We've kind of removed any mysteriousness from anything in culture that could be considered dark, interesting, and unknown by adding technology to it, because everything is at the touch of a fingertip, right? This movie completely steers clear of that because it happens in 1962. One thing that Mike said about it earlier is that it has kind of a Purge vibe, right? And you're not completely wrong with that, Mike. So this is a town that is completely locked down, right? And specifically one time a year it's locked down. And it's locked down because there is kind of a ritual that has to happen, just kind of like what happens in the Purge. People go after this certain thing that they have to do, and they're all wearing masks while they're doing it. So it is very Purge-esque. I don't think that was intentional. But it definitely is there. So Mike's not completely wrong, right? Normally we go through like directors and casts. Mike, do you have any of that stuff up in front of you?
What? Yeah, I got it up in front of me. I wasn't sure if
Directors
we
and
wanted to go
cast.
through it this time.
Sweet,
What?
let's do
Yeah,
it.
wait, okay. Well, okay. Well, then I guess get into the cast. Well, we have Britt Dalton playing Jim Shepard, Cassie Likes playing Richie Shepard. Then we have one of the Cullens. I just know this actress from Twilight, Elizabeth Reeser, playing Donna Shepard.
Yeah.
And because of her, because of her, very often in the movie, I had to think of Twilight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we have.
I can see that. Okay.
Yeah. Then we have Emery Crutchfield. No. Oh God, there are so much actors in this. It's going to take like an hour just to pull them all up. So I think that was pretty much the main cast so far. Oh, except for Jeremy Davis, that plays Dan Shepard. The rest are all pretty much just side cast, no? And it was directed by David Slade. I do not know who that guy is, but yeah.
Yeah, I saw the name earlier, but I can't think of any films off the top of my head that that guy did. Help us out, Cierra.
Can someone easily look this up while I say this? Because I don't know if I'm actually right. 30 Days of Night?
Okay, let me check.
Or something like that. I know he's done like a vampire creature feature something or other recently.
It could be. I know I've heard the name before. I just can't remember.
Yes, it was 30 Days of Night, second part that he did, Dark Days. No?
Okay.
Or also...
Sick.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a couple others too that are of note.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, it was 30 Days of Night 2 he did. He also did no. Well, so far I can only find 30 Days of Night 2 that he did.
That's okay.
Word.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Word.
All I can say is that I hope that he does some more movies because this one's good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely love this one.
Yeah, I mean, I could get into an hour-long discussion about how Hollywood just doesn't they don't push certain directors in certain films, even though they obviously did something different. And we go through a lot of horror movies on this podcast that, I mean, they didn't do anything different. They're just sticking to a formula. This one kind of does a really good job of telling an original story. What's up, Mike?
Guys, you want to know what's funny?
What?
What I just found out? He did one of the Twilight movies.
Get the fuck out
David
of here,
Slade
man.
He also did Breaking Dawn.
Okay.
Well, that explains why he picked Homegirl to play mom.
Yeah. Okay. We won't hold that against him. That's okay. It still is a very original story. So this movie, visuals and atmosphere wise, it's kind of dusty cornfields at dusk. Masked teenage boys clutching bats, chains, and makeshift weapons. And they're all hungry. Everybody in this film is hungry, and we'll kind of figure out why that is as we go along. And the whole town is kind of watching these boys do this. Yeah.
But why they're hungry is clear. I think it's dead because these boys, they are starved 3 days before this event happens.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. So Sawtooth Jack is the monster in this film, right? And Sawtooth Jack is kind of a when you look at him at first, he kind of looks like a reanimated corpse with a pumpkin type head, right?
Yeah.
This draws from quite a few legends that are actually existent in real life. So if you go to Ireland, there's lots of stories about this character. He has different names though, wherever you see him in folklore. So this draws from a lot of those old local legends, which if you like that kind of stuff like I do, you see the parallels immediately. It's cool as fuck. I mean, key character is Jim Shepard, which is Richie's older brother. And at the beginning of the movie, what we see is all of these kids running out in the street with masks on. Like I said, they all have weapons in their hands, but they're all makeshift weapons like bats and misgaba. What's some pitchforks? Pitchforks,
yeah.
And stuff like that. Yeah. And these guys are hunting this creature, right? And so Richie finally gets the jump on this creature and kills it, right? And
Jim.
so the whole
Or
town
Jim.
rejoices.
Jim in the beginning.
Jim
Yeah.
that kills it, not Richie.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. So he kills the character or the monster, and then we basically get like a town gathering, right? And the family is saluted for him having killed the creature, and the family is given all of these gifts. Like they're given a Corvette, cash, and then the right to leave the town, which I thought was interesting, right?
Uh-huh. New
So
house as well.
yeah, a new house, Corvette, cash, all this stuff, and then the right to leave the town, which we find out is something nobody can do. Nobody's allowed
Right.
to unless you win this contest. So your family is put up on this pedestal if you win this contest. Now, specifically the person that killed the monster, right? Let's see. Act 1. Act 1 of the story, Richie Shepherd, let's see. That's Jim's younger brother, right?
Yes, Richie's the younger one.
So yeah, his younger brother, after his brother wins, he kind of feels cheated by the rules, barring his entry since his family already won last year. So if the family already won, then the child underneath does not get to compete in the contest for the next year. Right.
Correct.
And that burns him up. The parents bask in Jim's victory. They've moved up socially. They now seem to be winners within the community. Donna, the mother, which is the actress that you mentioned from Twilight, she kind of clings to that status a little bit too much, I think, during this
For
film.
reasons, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Postcards supposedly from Jim arrived because Jim was allowed to leave, right? So Jim left, and nobody's seen him since. And that's something that they really harp on here because they want you to know he's gone. He won and he left. So postcards from him show up, but Richie, his younger brother, kind of doubts that they're from him, right? Because it doesn't seem like something that he would write.
At first. Well, at first he believes that the postcards are from his brother.
Right.
But then once he starts kind of, going on this journey that he goes on throughout the whole movie, he starts picking apart this story and then realizes that is not the case.
Yeah. Right. So in the next scene, we kind of get introduced to another character, which is Kelly Haynes. She's kind of the new girl in town. She's also black. That's going to come into the story quite a bit. This is 1962, so there was a lot of that going on. And it's kind of on showcase here. Yeah.
What is probably like Indiana, some cornfield in Indiana or Iowa or some shit is what I assume this town is supposed to be in.
I would assume so. They show a cityscape at one point in this movie that's kind of in the background, right?
That was always confusing.
Yeah,
and I know that's just setting. That's just what they had to work with. But like when you're in the town, it gives very much like small town America in the '60s, and then when they're out of town, you almost get like a cityscape, like a skyline, of like a metropolitan city or something. But
yeah, the town is also segregated. We should probably point out.
Yes,
it is segregated white to black.
Yes,
because it's a white 1960s town. Richie kind of bonds with this girl like immediately almost because she is new in the town. Because they're both outsiders in different ways. The chemistry is really clear. She wants freedom as much as he does, right? That's kind of the central theme for both of them. Town bullies harass him. They harass her. There's subtle racism beneath the teen rivalry that's going on. And I say subtle, but it's not really subtle. I think you probably picked up on it more than probably I would, but it's pretty in your face, I think.
It is, but I also think it is subtle in a lot of ways because at no point in the movie do you hear a hard R, right?
No.
Like, I think that's just, that part is probably implied without saying it, which for me, I did appreciate that. I appreciated that. Do
you think in movies that's needed? That's one of the things that I always bring up. Like I grew up in Mobile, Alabama, which up until just recently, racism was still everywhere, right? And so I grew up hearing that word all the time. Never liked it, but it was just one of those things that you knew was going to happen, and you kind of made peace with it after a little while. But I don't necessarily need to hear it in movies. Like if there's if there's a historical context to it, then okay, I get it. I understand, but there are some movies that do it constantly, and I feel like they're trying to be shocking, but I kind of wish that would just go away.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel I'm kind of with you on that. I also don't need to hear it. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
I feel like the context of the movie itself is important there. For a movie like this, that is basically like at the crossroads of being a folk horror and a creature feature in the 1960s. I don't think that the racism of the town that they live in is the focus. You know what I mean? So it's there, but it's not the centerpiece. And I kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah.
For a movie like Django Unchained, on the other hand, that absolutely is the focus of that movie.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Or like something with like, directed by Richard Pryor or something crazy and extreme like that. Like so I feel like in those movies,
it's called for.
It's necessary.
I can see it historical context
like
wise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So next thing, Act 2, we kind of get a preparing for the sacrifice. Sacrifice is a theme here, obviously. It's in a barn, and there's this is a scene that at the very beginning of the movie seems a little shocking because you don't know what's going on. All you see is a barn and a corpse that's being ritualistically stuffed with candy and stitched up and then set aflame, right?
Yeah.
Very odd behavior. If there's no context for it, I mean, you can put 2 and 2 together and say, well, this is obviously the monster, right?
Yeah.
Because we see at the beginning of the movie that there's candy coming out of this thing when it's killed or hit.
Right.
So this is obviously the monster. We don't know whose corpse at this time this is, though. No. Let's see.
But also, too, on that, we know this is kind of our well, it's not really our first time seeing that the monster is real because, like you said, we see him at the beginning of the movie. The previous years, The Run, the name of the ritual, we see him there. But as far as like the upcoming one, this is our first time kind of seeing that year's Sawtooth in the flesh, which comes after, that part of the opening scene is when all the boys are in the gymnasium and the cop is telling them what they got to do, and like putting yourself in their shoes, like them all being the first, or I guess second born boys of their families. They've probably heard about this ritual that they have to do every year for their entire lives, right?
Yeah,
being grown up in that town.
It's a rite of
passage.
passage.
They're finally of age to do it. Now they're getting the pep talk, and the cop, Officer Ricks, he's telling them what to do or what's going to happen. Which me personally, I love Officer Ricks' character. I think he's completely unhinged, and one of the things that really like
this guy is crazier than a shithouse rat, dude.
So sick. And I mean, I'm usually like, obviously it's a movie. He's a fictional character,
right?
I'm usually not on Team Cop in any kind of capacity, right? But like this guy, I don't know. He's so crazy and just so weird. I love him, But so when he's telling them about what they got to do in that scene, there's a little snippet where the boys are talking amongst themselves, and they're like, "This shit is fake." They fucking grab a dude from the prison, they stuff his pants full of candy, and then boo, like they're like no one believes it except for a couple of them, and so when we see Sawtooth getting ready to be alive, getting him stuffed full of candy,
we know
that's
that
kind
it's
of
real.
that's kind of the watcher's first thing of like, oh, like this is gonna happen. Right.
And like you said, this cop character, this whole scene in the gymnasium, I fucking love it because it's almost like what you get in the army before you have to go out and do some operation. Like it is a bunch of kids. Your military is a bunch of kids, and they're sitting there and they're listening to some guy who's much older than them, who has been through this plenty of times, screaming at them and trying to scare them into understanding that this is something that they have to do and it's going to be dangerous. You always have people that are not taking it seriously and are laughing about it and don't think it's real. And those are usually the people that get dead first.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happens, right?
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they also talk about the starvation here. And this is where we get into what we were talking about earlier. The kids are made into a frenzy, right? So, if you have fighting dogs, and I hate to use this analogy, but it's the only thing I can think of. If you have fighting dogs, before you fight them, you would starve them for a few days because they're a lot more aggressive, right? And that's exactly what they're doing with these kids. They are starving them to where they are at wit's end. Their fuse is very short. and they're out for blood, right?
Yes.
Pretty interesting way to do this, but highly effective. Unfortunately,
Right.
it does come back to kick a few of them in the ass.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of infighting that goes on in this movie, but the gymnasium scene is great, and I love the cop because of this. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. The tone really changes when he yells at the top of his voice, and he's like, "One of you guys is gonna die." Which also, I feel like what this movie does really, really nicely is says things without actually saying them. And I've arrived at this after watching this movie like 200 times, right? So like at this point, so it's important to know that the families of the kids who have won the run, they know what's happening.
Right.
The other regular families, kids who are about to do the run, the other families who are still poor, who are still low class, whatever, they don't really know what's actually happening.
Right.
Yet. So there's like all of these kids in the gymnasium who are getting that pep talk. They've never done the run before. Their parents are not in the know. They don't know. The only one who's in the know is the cop, the other guy who's part of the presentation, who's like, who's going to win this new car. Like all the adults in the town that are not parents of children, they know. But one thing that Officer Rick says in this pep talk is, one of your classmates will surely die. And like, they don't know that, or they don't know, like, all they know is that they have to kill Sawtooth.
Right.
But they don't know that, and I don't want to like, we're going to get there, so I don't want to say too soon.
Yeah.
But what good does it say one of your classmates will surely die? Because they think it's just Sawtooth that's going to die, but they don't know.
Well, I think that's,
you know what I mean? So that kind of says something without saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. Well, that's kind of one of the things that if you're preparing a group of people for something that's really terrible, you need to prepare them for the worst, right? And the worst is a few of them are going to die, or somebody that they know is going to die.
Right.
It's driving home the seriousness of it. Go ahead, Mike.
I think it can be safely assumed, considering the fact that this has been going on probably for generations in this small town. And so they know probably a lot of people are going to die. So it's just like, they just take it as face value. Yeah, a few of you are going to die.
Yeah.
Because I do not want to know how much young kids have died in this ritual over the years. I mean,
if the previous years are anything like this year, then it's a fucking bloodbath. But I think, like Cierra said before we started filming, this year particularly is a really bad year, like a really brutal year for this
I think
town.
this one's just a little more extreme than the other ones.
Yeah. So I mean, it's foreshadowing that probably more than anything gets the watcher of the movie more prepared for what's going to happen than people in the film. Like, we need to know it's going to be a bloodbath. If anything, just to keep you watching. Like that's enough for me. I'm like, ooh, somebody's going to die. Fuck yeah. Like, I'm a horror fanatic.
Right?
Tell me people are going to die horribly and I'm going to watch the movie. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's kind of a hook, right? So the next scene we get is the lockup, right? So we actually get to see these kids getting locked up. The boys of Bastion are locked up in a gymnasium for 3 days without food. They're told this is to make them hungry enough to kill. The tensions kind of rise. Some boys fight each other before the run even begins, right? So there's a whole scene where everybody's just kind of on edge, starving, and just at each other's throat.
Brains out. Like,
yeah, dude. Like, here's my question. And maybe you guys noticed this. This is something I didn't catch the first time through. Where are all the fucking girls?
You mean in the run? They're not allowed.
No, I know they're not allowed in the run, but we don't really get many female characters at all.
That's a really good point. I guess it's safe to assume that this movie is just focused on the young men of the town.
Yeah,
and that maybe the girls are there. Well, because like we get Annie, right, which is Jim's ex, who's all busted up.
Yeah.
Along with Richie, that Jim hasn't come back yet. So we meet her, and we get Sis. What's her name again? Kelly. Right?
Yeah.
So we get those two girls, and then Mom. Yeah. Other than that,
there's just not a whole lot of female characters. But I guess,
yes, they are. I mean, at the party afterwards, you see a lot of girls in the crowd. You know, after the run, no.
Right, they're there.
In the beginning, and after. So when I was watching the movie, specifically because it says that girls are not allowed to joined the run. I just assumed that they were being locked up at home during this period. I guess that's what I assumed.
That would make sense. Yeah. Okay.
Probably.
That made sense to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Richie, because Richie he's technically barred from the competition, right? So Richie finds a way into the lockup and joins the boys. So this is the younger kid who's barred from it. He kind of wants to be part of it, feels left out. So he literally breaks into the lockup. I thought that was kind of cool.
Well, so I think all the boys are locked up in their rooms at home.
Right.
So they're all like separate of each other, and then there's a scene before the lockup happens. Like right before the lockup happens, we see Richie. He tries to escape town.
Right. And the cop stops
he
him.
goes, he steals a car because he gets a postcard from his brother and reads it, and his brother's like, yo, I'm still traveling, not coming home anytime soon, and I can't have you come join me. I'm sorry, little bro, but it's just not time yet. And he gets real mad, and so he goes and like steals some beer, steals somebody's car, drives to the edge of town. And I thought this part was brilliant, me personally, because I thought that this is where he was going to get out of town, go find his brother, go start his journey, go do the thing. And he's like, it's like triumphant. It's like the sun's rising. He's clearly been out all night. He's just stolen some random person's car. He started it with no key and shit. Yeah. I was like, oh, my boy's gone. Here we go. And he just like pedaled to the metal outside of town. And then who's there to stop him? Of course, Officer Ricks. And here we go. So he tries to escape, and then Officer Ricks knocks him out, and he's out cold for 3 days.
Yeah.
So he like inadvertently gets locked up.
Yeah, he does.
For 3 days because he's not conscious, because he got knocked out so hard.
Right.
But then he like, when he comes to, he has that chat with his dad or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's an element about his parents that I want to touch on too before we get too further. But once he comes to, like, he's been knocked out at home, like in a coma essentially, while all the boys are locked up at home getting ready to do the run. And then he comes to when all the boys are let out.
Right.
And then he's like, oh shit, how long have I been out? And his dad's like, 3 days. And he does some math, and he's like, oh fuck, I gotta go. And then, some other shit happens. But about his parents, I think it's worth noting that because they have a kid that's 1 and they are in the know now of what's actually going on, their whole stance is like deflection and like disassociation.
Yeah.
Right. Anytime Richie goes to his parents and he's like, hey, I want to do the run, or I've been thinking about Jim, or I want to do this, his parents are just like, do you want to eat dinner? They're just like, they're like, we're not talking about it.
Yeah.
So they try to just keep him distracted this whole time because they know what's going to happen. And I think mom does an incredible job of acting crazy, acting like she don't know what's actually going on, because she's just like, oh, I baked some cookies. You want to eat some cookies, sweetheart?
Right.
And he's like, hello, mom. I'm going to go do the run. Hello.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, you want to pray with me? Like nobody's listening to him. So
yeah,
I think that also kind of fuels that kind of teenage angst of like, fuck you guys, my parents aren't listening to me, it's me against the world, and I'm gonna run. You know what I mean? So I think that's also awesome.
there's kind of also an air of I don't know, like rebellion here. Like he now realizes that if he can't leave town and go find his brother and do something else, well, god damn it, he's gonna be part of this. Because his will to leave the town is greater than the rules or any of that stuff. Which, if I were his parents,
he just wants his brother.
Right. If I were his parents and I realized this, there must be some unspoken rule that we're not catching. But I would have fucking told the kid. I would have been like, "Look, we get it. It's not worth your life. So we're just going to tell you what's up." And I would have told him what was up. He would have been pissed, but he would have been alive.
It's not an unspoken rule.
Matt.
Huh? Well, it's actually not an unspoken rule among the parents, because it's been mentioned. The dad later on mentions to Richie that whenever the thing happened with the last run, that they were all together and they had to sign some kind of what's it called?
Like a contract. They were like sworn to secrecy.
I can only think of the German term, not of the English term. No, but they had to keep it secret. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you don't keep a secret, then you die. And like
Yeah.
that's another one of those unspoken things that's kind of said without actually saying it. It's like if you tell somebody who's not in the know, then you'll die. But like, how are they going to know? It's 1963. No one's got a cell phone with a bugged mic in it. No one's got a fucking camera, dash cam that's going to recording everything you say. Like, how would they have known? So it's kind of like this, like, there's like some like non-human or force almost that's over this town that's got eyes and ears everywhere. And the cop, actually, Officer Ricks, when he finds that kid that's hiding out, that's supposed to be out doing the run, and he kicks him out of his house. He's like, I got eyes and ears everywhere in this town, Chief. I know everything that's going on. Boom. And like he does, because how would he know that Richie's trying to drive out of town? How
not only that, but how in the world would he be able to patrol this entire town to keep everybody from leaving by himself without people telling him?
He's a single guy.
Yeah.
Right. So there's got to be more going on that we just don't know about. You know?
And that's apparent too. That scene where he goes to the house and pulls the kid out is like he would just as soon kill that kid too. Like this guy has got an itchy trigger finger, just like any cop. I'll go ahead and say it.
Right.
Any American cop, itchy fucking trigger finger, right?
Right.
He goes in the house, kicks the kid out of the house. At this time, Kelly has also joined our main character in his quest to do whatever he's going to do, right? She's a female, but she's determined to like watch over this guy is kind of the gist you get. But did you notice that the minute that they steal this cop's car, he's real quick to pull out his weapon and start shooting at him? Like this is definitely a fucking life or death thing, right?
Right.
He didn't care if he killed him. He was like, fuck it. Nah. Yeah. So Act 3, we get the run, the start of the run, right? Church bells toll in the town. That's kind of the symbol that the thing is starting. The gym doors swing open. The boys charge into the streets with masks and weapons. Kind of the same thing that we saw the previous year in 1962. They start fucking destroying shit. And this is kind of where I'm like, okay, rules have been established. Everybody seems to be following them. And I kind of said something about this before we started filming. Like, there has to be repercussions for your actions. It's not like, all bets are off the table. If the run starts, you can do whatever you want. There's got to be like some type of rules here. But these kids, they destroy storefronts, they set fires, they assault townspeople. It's less ritual and more like state-sanctioned riot, is what it feels like. We get another look at Sawtooth Jack. He kind of bursts into view, flaming head, candy spilling, and the chase is on, right? And so from this point on in the movie, it is absolute fucking chaos. This resembles The Purge for me more than any other part of the movie because it is chaos. They are looting stores, they're burning stuff, and like we mentioned before we started, there's a butcher who is out in front of his shop with a fucking shotgun because he knows these kids are starving, right? They're starving. They'll fucking eat anything right now. And so he thinks they're going to come after his store, and he doesn't care about shooting kids either. Like he fucking offs like 3 of them, doesn't he?
Two for sure, possibly 3. Yeah, just like gets him in the gut with a giant fucking shotgun, blood everywhere, and he's like, "Is that all you got, you savages?" Like he just doesn't fucking care.
No, he doesn't care. This has obviously been going on a really fucking long time.
He's done. This is probably his like 50th run that he's ever been part of, and he's just like this old dude. Probably did the run when he was a kid, and he's just over it. You know?
Yeah. This is also the thing I really liked about the movie. So it does kind of have kind of like what you said before, kind of a teenage angst kind of thing. It could have very well turned into kind of like a teenage drama film, which I think if the advertising had maybe been done a little bit better, they would have gotten more people to watch the film because it is anything other than that. The amount of gore in this film, it's buckets and buckets of blood, dude.
That's what took us out because we were in like a couple of the scenes, which we're getting to, I'm sure. It's like when those scenes happened, we were just like, what the fuck? Like we weren't expecting it, you know?
Yeah. And that continues. I mean, there's a bunch of kills in this movie. I will say they did use CGI, but a lot of it is also practical effects. Thank goodness. I appreciate it when films do that. We talk about that all the time.
Totally.
There's even one scene, and I'm not sure, I think we come up on it now, but there is a group of boys that have locked themselves away. This is a great scene.
cellar,
I fucking love this scene.
It's like a tornado shelter, like in the mountain or something.
Yeah. It's a tornado shelter. There's probably a good 25, 30 kids that are in this thing, right? And the one kid that's in charge of it all, it's obviously his parents' cellar, and he's charged everybody $20. He's charged everybody $20. If you give me $20, you can stay down here during the entire run. Nobody has to know about it, and you'll be fine. Richie knows about this place, and at this time, him and Kelly are kind of being chased by this monster because him and his friends and the group of kids that he has together went into the cornfield already looking for this monster, and this thing took out everybody except for him and Kelly, right? One kid gets his head completely fucking ripped off. The other
boy, he's my favorite.
Yeah. Like everybody fucking dies. So this monster is very capable of mass murder.
And like how? We never
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't understand. That's the drive I don't understand. That's got to be the mystical kind of black magic part of it, right?
Exactly.
It has a drive to murder.
Obviously. No.
Yeah. But we see in the end also, like we haven't gotten there yet, but we see in the end that it also has feelings too. So I'm a little iffy on that whole thing, but it doesn't matter in the whole scheme of the thing. It's a fun movie. I'm not going to question too much. This thing wipes out all of his friends that have gone with him in his truck. And it's just him and Kelly left. They go to this storm shelter because he knows about it. Because at this point, he's like, fuck this. I've seen what this thing can do. I'm not chancing that shit. Let's go. So he tries to go to the storm cellar, the hurricane cellar. And they kind of open the... Yeah. He kind of opens the door a little bit. And he's like, what do you want? He's like, let us in. He's like, you have to give me $20. That's the rule. You know, if you don't give me $20, I can't let you in. And you see the kid's eyes on the other side of the shelter, and he notices that Sawtooth is behind them, right? So he tries to slam the door. I'm not really sure how the door gets busted open, but I think how does the door get open? Do you remember?
So one of the other kids in the cellar is like, bro, we have to fucking help him. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, no, we're not. The other kid is like, no, we're not opening the door. We will all surely die. The door has to stay shut. Fuck him. Sorry, it sucks to be him. He didn't have $20. He's not coming in. But the other kid's like, no, this is fucked. He's gonna die. We have to help him. We have to help him. And so he pushes homeboy out of the way, runs up the stairs, and he just willingly opens the cellar door to Bud, one of the guys in Richie's crew, getting his fucking head.
Dude, this kill is great.
What's that candy? What's that candy? The Pez dispenser?
The Pez dispenser,
remember?
They did that shit on purpose.
Sawtooth fucking just Pez dispensers this poor kid's head.
It's a fucking gory ass scene.
The cellar door's wide open.
Yeah, if you're a horror fan, even if you didn't have the patience to watch this whole movie, this scene is worth all of it because
just get to this scene, man.
Yeah, you get almost what, Mike?
The scene itself is great, you know, where you see Sawtooth, go down and kill them all. But this is just one of those things where my first thought was, every single kid in this cellar is a complete fucking idiot. I mean, they opened the door, of course, knowing what was outside there. But this is like for a very long time, they watched Sawtooth murder this guy. And Sawtooth was still like a meter or two away from the shelter. And they didn't even try to close the door.
No, they didn't. Yeah.
Literally. They had so much time.
Yeah.
They had so much, but I think they're just frozen in fear, probably. Yeah.
I mean, I would be.
But still, they had hella time to shut that door.
But it's great because you get this picture of this monster slowly walking down the stairs.
The way he descends down the stairs. He almost floats down the stairs. And you're just like, they're all dead.
They're all dead. And you know exactly what's going to happen. But the way that they decided to do it in the film is really cool because I feel like it's almost a homage to Army of Darkness. Like the scene at the beginning when they throw the guys down in the well and then this big like spurt of blood comes out. It's almost too much blood. But this fucking monstrous wave of blood just comes spewing out of the shelter, and I was like, yes!
Literally, we did this. We were all just like, look, dude. It reminded me of like just over the top Nightmare on Elm Street shit that happens in the dreams.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, where has this been?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
In
know.
movies.
That's what I'm saying. It's a great movie. I have no idea why it's not talked about more.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, that scene alone was worth watching the film. Like, that was great.
Also, too, like on another like quick, just little bit of like flavoring, or a little bit of
Yeah.
like this is really like of the times is the thing that leads Bud, other than just being of age and being forced to do the run. The thing that leads up to this whole scene is Bud, the character named Bud, breaking off from the group. He runs home, and like he's been locked up for 3 days. He's done all the other things with the other boys, but he runs home because he's like, I don't want to die. I don't want to do this. I want my mom. I want to go home. It just he goes to this like little kid version of himself, right? And he stays with it enough to run all the way home, and he's banging on the door. This part, like, it broke my heart, honestly.
Yeah.
He's banging on the door, and he's like, Mom, he's crying out for his mom. She opens the door, and he's like, Mom, please let me in. I don't want to do the run. I don't want to die. Please, can I come home? And his mom is like, no. And she said, because she is the parent of a kid who's never won before. She doesn't know what the price is.
Yeah.
She says, no, honey, we need this.
Okay.
Like,
we
need the money. We need the new house. We need a car. We need a better life. Please just go do this for your family. Like, we need this. Make me proud. And then his dad runs out and he's like, be a man, and shoves him into the street.
Yep.
And like, they're an immigrant family. The first little bit of racism we see is at him in the beginning of the movie when that jock is like, yo, Mexicans ain't even allowed to win.
Right.
So like they're very obviously struggling too, and they're struggling so bad that even though there's all this chaos happening out in the street and her son might die, Mom's like, nah, baby, you need to go win this so we can have a better life. But like they just don't know. Yeah. And that's the whole setup for this crazy bloody scene, it's crazy. And then also, what happens to Bud is the premonition that he talks about earlier on in the movie. Like when they first start the run and they hop in the truck, he just like jumps into this. It's almost like he's like subconsciously saying all this, but he like goes into this trance state almost. And he's talking about this memory he has of being a little kid, and he's watching all the older boys outside doing the run, and he's like 5 or 6 or something, and he's in the window and he's screaming at this older boy, yo, Sawtooth is behind you,
yeah,
look
right
out. And that ends up what happens to him. It's like the foreshadowing in this movie is crazy.
Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely
And
nuts.
the kills have weight too, and I feel like this is something that me and Mike talk about a lot with movies. There's a lot of horror movies where you don't get the character development and you don't get the feeling. It's almost like they just want to kill people on screen just for the shock value. But in horror movies, the ones that I really appreciate are the ones where you've gotten to know the character a little bit. You kind of feel their pain a little bit, and then you see them get offed. And when they get offed, it's so much more effective if you know something about them. And you're right. This scene is gut wrenching strictly because of the fact that they're an immigrant family, and his family is just wanting to do better, and they know that this is their ticket, and doing better and not being treated like second-class citizens is almost more important than that kid's life.
Right. Feel like that's the cost.
That's the cost.
Like,
and that echoes a lot of modern American culture too, and that's a whole nother discussion that we could get into for hours. But there are a lot of people that come to America or whatever country, and they depend on their family members doing better so that they can have a better life. And this is just a very good instance of that. And it is gut-wrenching.
And also like them trying to do better, but yet society continually beating them down for no fucking good reason.
Right.
Like they're good people, they're trying to work, they pay their taxes, they go home, they feed their kids, and they still can't get ahead. I feel like there's a big social commentary in there somewhere for sure.
It is. I mean, this whole thing is kind of a commentary for American society. It is. And if we wanted to have that discussion about the whole film, that would be another hour because there's a lot of that in
we'd
here.
be here for the rest of the day.
Yeah. I did notice something this time around that I didn't catch before, and maybe you can enlighten me because you've seen the film so many more times than me. Did I imagine this, or does Sawtooth sometimes recognize people and therefore not kill them? Did I?
He definitely. Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
That because I think there is still some semblance of Jim in there.
Right.
You know, and sorry,
Yeah,
I said that.
I can edit it out.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I think there is still some of his brother in there.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
I do think.
Well,
because especially in the one scene where Sawtooth walks out, there like the moment where like Richie has him at gunpoint and he looks down and sees the belt. I think they both have a moment right there. You know, like obviously Richie has a moment and he's like, "Holy fuck!" But I think Sawtooth could have easily just chopped his head off right there, or lit him on fire or whatever he does, but he didn't.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and there were other people that he comes in contact with that he decides not to kill for whatever reason, and I think that's the foreshadowing for what he ends up being, right? But I didn't catch that the first watch through, and I caught it this time, and I was like, oh, okay, so this thing does have maybe more feelings than what we see.
Well, I thought it was pretty obvious that a little bit of life was left with him, specifically one of the end scenes, the death of Sawtooth. That's where it was, to me, totally obvious. You know, because Richie was carrying him halfway over the steps, and in the end, you know, like Sawtooth took the gun and pointed it toward his head. And Sawtooth at no point or whatsoever in the movie even attempted to harm Richie. Those were all things that kind of, to me, made it pretty very obvious.
Yeah, but my point is, it wasn't so obvious until the end, right? And there's little things that they give away during the movie until then that kind of lets you know that he is not indiscriminately killing. Like if he recognizes someone or they meant something to him, then he'll just walk past them, and he does that 2 or 3 times, right?
Right.
And I'd noticed it, and I wondered if you guys noticed it because I didn't catch it the first time.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely noticed it, but I guess I didn't register that. Like, oh, like he's actively not trying to kill these people.
Yeah. So where do we go from here? Because I don't want to like miss over anything that was super important to you guys.
So we're in the run. We're doing the run. Bud is dead. From here, we kind of get a little bit of a side quest. I mean, not really a side quest, but there's more of a focus on Richie and Kelly now when they have that moment. They've stolen the cop car. They're parked somewhere.
Yeah.
They're having a cigar, and they have another bonding moment where they get to talk.
Yeah.
And that's where you learn a lot about Kelly's backstory in the town. And this is something that I learned. I picked up on this today, and it's another one of those things that they say it without actually saying it. So they have this moment where they're in the car, they're talking, and Richie's like, "So you're not like other people from here. What's your deal?" And she's like, all my family grew up here. My dad married my mom, had me somewhere else. This happened. They shipped me here to live with my aunt and blah, 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 blah. But that's all bullshit, actually. I learned this today. I've noticed this today. Her whole backstory that she believes about her life, about her parents having her in a different place, and then her parents dying, and then her getting shipped to this town to live with her aunt.
Yeah.
Like that kind of seems bullshit to begin with, because I don't think any new people moved to this town either.
No, I don't think so either.
The townsfolk don't get to leave, and new people don't get to come in. So that's bullshit to begin with. But then it's confirmed that it's bullshit because eventually they get caught. Like Officer Ricks catches up to them.
Yeah.
And once Richie has that moment with Sawtooth where they don't kill each other, he kind of puts it all together and he's like, oh, fuck. The very next scene, Officer Ricks catches up with them. He's got Richie at gunpoint. And Richie's like, you know what? I don't care for this punk-ass town no more. And then Ricks yells at them to get out of the car. And the way he yells is so funny. It literally sounds like tires screeching of a car. Every time I hear it, I'm just like, Jesus, this guy's unhinged. And then Kelly she literally says that same thing. She's like, God damn it, this guy is stuck in one gear, meaning like he's always like over the top.
Yeah.
And then this is the part. So the cop leans in. He's still got Richie at gunpoint, but the cop leans in and he's like, oh, Kelly Haynes, I remember you. And he says something really crazy. He goes, I remember your parents. Your daddy had a lip on him and he tried to get away too, but I caught up with him.
Ah, no shit. Okay.
So there was never a point in time where her parents didn't live in that town. Okay. They tried to get out and Ricks killed her parents.
No shit. Dude, I didn't catch that at all. Holy fuck.
This is the thing about this movie that like there's a lot of little tiny things that get said without actually getting said. You know what I mean? So So the point about Rick's killing her parents, I've known that for a while. But the thing that I got today was the whole backstory of her, that she gives of her life.
Yeah.
Is bullshit. So she obviously was born, but an infant, because she doesn't have any memory. So she's just living off what the adults tell her.
Yeah.
But when he says, I remember your daddy, he had a lip on him and he tried to get away, but I caught up with him, just confirms that they had Kelly in the town, which is why she's there.
Right.
They tried to get away and they couldn't. Rex kills him, and then she grows up with her aunt in the town.
No shit.
She never was not in the town.
I never caught that. Holy fuck, dude.
You know?
Okay.
So
yeah.
So a lot happens in that like car scene when they're talking and everything.
Okay.
And then we get some character development on Kelly too, because she's like, "What have you heard about we?" Like, who's talking shit, and he goes, "Well, Pat Shanley said you burned down the barn and you burned down old man Bagley's whatever," and she's like, "Man, fuck this Pat Shanley. He doesn't know what he's saying." And then you learn about her backstory, and then she's like, "No, just kidding. I actually did do all that shit." So you're kind of like, "Okay, Kelly, like you're just a little pyromaniac for real."
Yeah.
Just out here. I mean, like, I know it's retaliation because, you know, they said whatever. She said they called me a nasty name, and we can probably assume that.
Yeah,
of
of
there's
course.
That word
again.
Right. So she burned down his barn, which I think is fucking sick.
Fine.
Quite ballsy as a little black girl in 1963. Absolutely. You know.
And as far as we can tell, the only one in the town.
Yeah, literally. So past this, they get away from Rick's. Like they kick him in the head. Like his gun goes off. They get away, and then Richie takes Kelly to his house where his mom is. Meanwhile, Dad is out on the town. Dad's out trying to find Richie. Dad's out trying to find Rick's. And Mom is higher than a kite at this point. She's taking.
Oh yeah. This bitch is lit this entire time, bro.
Yes, she's just like flying high, right? And then we get, I think, one of the most important parts of the movie is when Richie confronts his mom about all the past winners of the run.
Yep.
And also just the deflection, the constant not wanting to talk about it.
Because he gets it now. He's seen the fucking belt buckle, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's put everything together and he's like, who won the run before Jim? And she's got all the names and she's got all the stories, which is crazy because this just like speaks to how deep this town runs with their lies.
Oh yeah,
like,
dude.
All these
The whole thing is a lie.
Everyone's backstory on lock. They got everybody's name. They got what everybody. Oh, this person died. This person's a famous author. Oh, this guy moved to fucking whatever.
Right.
All of the parents, all of the adults who are in the know have these same stories. It's just crazy the way they control. You know?
Yeah. But no different than society. Funny enough.
I was about to say the things that people believe in order to just stay numb to what's actually happening.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's genius the way that they do this in this movie.
Yeah, and we also find out that she's also forged all of the postcards from his brother as well.
Yes.
Right. She's forged them the whole time just to keep hope alive for him. Completely
down the rabbit hole of we need to uphold this lie. And it's also shame. You know, Dad and Mom deal with shame very differently. I think Dad's a little bit more forthcoming with his shame, the way he feels, but Mom's just like, I'm going to sweep this under the rug and completely fucking forget about it and act like everything's fine loudly.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So she's just like overly happy and like just not paying attention to it. Band-Aid, you know.
Mm-hmm. And this shame too that she has to come to realize once she tells him what's actually going on and he realizes it, the shame is too much for her to bear and she kills herself.
She kills herself.
Yeah, dude. Like
another out of left field, didn't see it coming, holy fuck moment.
Yeah. That scene struck me. I was not expecting that at all. And that caught me the first time too. I was like, oh shit, it's like that. So there never was an escape. There was never an escape. There was no hope. This whole town thrives on a sacrifice. Nobody comes in, nobody leaves. And it was all a lie. Right. Fucking crazy. Right. Like the realization of that is fucked up, dude.
Yeah, dude. It's insane. Like,
and the cycle of violence just
when
continues.
Did it start?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody knows. Nobody knows why or how or when it started or why they continue. They just do it.
Yeah.
You know?
So next scene we get, and correct me if I'm wrong, Richie and Kelly kind of lure Sawtooth to the church, right? They kind of lure him into the church.
Yeah, it's getting close to midnight, and they know that that's where Sawtooth has to go. That's where he's just like programmed to go, essentially. And so they kind of just go to the church and wait it out. And then there's a scene with Dad there too. But yeah, now we get the scene where it's like the proper, like, Richie knows that any Sawtooth is the previous year's winner, right? And we'll get into how they make that, but he knows that Sawtooth is his brother at this point. And he's like, I'm going to stop this. This is bullshit. There's no way I'm going to save him. So now we get the face-to-face of Sawtooth, which is Jim and Richie. And you see Richie just walk out. He doesn't have I think he's got his gun on. No, he doesn't have a gun on him. He's got no weapon.
Yeah, he doesn't have shit. Nothing.
He's like, yo, Jim, it's me. It's your brother. It's okay. I know it's you. Come here, essentially. He's like, come here, bro. Like, we're going to get through this. And with the full intention of getting Sawtooth to walk through the church doors, because I think that, would put an end to it. It would kill the town, but, like, he's just like, yo, come on.
I think we forgot a scene.
Huh?
We forgot a scene specifically.
Okay, what is it?
What we forget?
Because it was seen with Kelly. Richie were with Richie's dad in the church, where he explained a lot. And Richie and his dad had a conversation, where pretty much his dad just told him everything.
Right.
Then Richie went out of, and his dad also said something on the line, you don't want to know what happens if he walks through this church.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And then Richie goes out and everything happens what you just explained, Cierra.
Yeah, you're right. Because there's a good minute of, like, Richie's not even hearing his dad at that point. He's just so set on saving his brother that he's not thinking about the consequence. Because, like, obviously there's no turning back for Jim.
Right. Yeah.
But Richie's just so hell bent on making that happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so we have like the final showdown, as it were, and Richie's there welcoming his brother, and then we get the fucking jock who was set up by the cop. Because a few scenes ago, Officer Ricks is like, oh man, it's fucking 10 till and we don't have a winner yet. Like, so he's kind of like he just grabs this kid. This jock runs up on him and he's like, yo, Sawtooth is over there. And he tells him to get in the car. And it's the jock that, like, jumped Richie from a previous scene. The kid from the first scene who's like, we don't have a fucking choice. Fuck you. That kid.
Yeah.
Officer Rick scoops him up off the street and he gives him a gun. And he's like, congratulations. You're this year's
You're the winner. Yeah.
They're trying to rig the win, essentially. Right. Hello. And while Richie is on the church stairs with his brother trying to, like, usher him into the church, the fucking jock comes out of nowhere and shoots at Sawtooth to try and win himself, and he hits him, but he doesn't kill him. And then there's this big showdown. Richie's like, get the fuck out of here. I guess he did have his gun on him because he pulls a gun on him.
He did. You just didn't know he did. Yeah.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the jock's like, oh, I never thought I'd win, fucking blah, blah, blah. Right. And as he's, like, limping up to go finish off Sawtooth takes the gun that's in Richie's hand and just, like puts it on his own head. And he's just like, please, brother, fucking kill me. I am miserable. And that's where we do see the remainder of Jim, who's still in there, who's just like, put me out of my misery. This sucks.
Right.
And Richie he's just like, well, fucking A. I guess I have to do this.
Shoots him in the head. And
kills his brother. And then we're back at the top of the movie, essentially. Yep. It's the end of the run. Sawtooth is dead. Richie goes through the same end of show rituals that Jim goes through.
Which this confuses me because he was originally blocked from entering the competition, and now since he's killed Sawtooth, they're just letting that fact go and celebrating him and parading him around anyway, right? Right,
and he still wins the money.
Yeah,
he still wins the car. They say nothing about the house because maybe they already have the house, but maybe they don't care. Maybe this is one of those like, hey, at least it got done, and we're just gonna roll with it kind of thing.
I think so.
That's what I think too. Yeah,
that's kind of what it feels like. Yeah, it's kind of like we'll take the good with the bad. The rules were broken, but whatever. At least it's done. So they
year type shit.
Parade him around. He gets money, car, status. you know, for a brief moment, he kind of believes he's broken free. You kind of get that feeling a little bit,
Yeah.
even though he
Yeah.
doesn't really. I don't think he believes that. He kind of feels like that because he's being paraded around.
Right, and I think he knows that.
Yeah. And
it's
it's
gonna
it's
be
shown
really
on
hard to get out of
Officer
town.
Rick's face because you see him watching all this go down and he's kind of smirking like, yeah, you ain't leaving, bitch. You know,
Yeah, no,
it's a huge fucking
no,
lie.
you ain't.
Uh,
Move on to the next scene where well we passed it up, but I just want to like note on it real quick about this being in 1963 and like his best mate in the movie ends up being this black girl and they kind of have a bit of a love story. Like we get to see the moment where he's the winner of the run. He's at the midnight dance, and earlier in the movie, he said, "When I win the run, I'll make sure you get into the midnight dance."
Oh, that's right.
Initially, he's like, "You going to the midnight dance?" And she's like, "No." And he goes, "Why not?" And she goes, basically saying, "I'm black, I'm not invited."
Right.
And so they're finally at the midnight dance, and she finally gets her moment, and he just like defies every old white person in the room and like says nothing.
Yeah.
Goes and grabs her hand, takes her to the center of the dance floor.
Yeah.
They have a little moment. It's real cute.
It is cool, yeah.
In front of everybody.
Yeah.
And the whole town's like, you know.
You've got your pearl clutching of every old person in the room, right?
Exactly. And then they make their plan. They're like, yo, let's get the fuck out of here. We're going away together. They're going to come after us. We got to be prepared. So they kind of prepare for this like last big showdown. And there's going to be some sort of big
of course
when they try to get out of town. So
he's got to know what's coming too, man. Like there has to be this knowing now that he knows what he knows, that they're going to come for him and they're going to string him up, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happens. He gets betrayed, drugged, and buried alive in the cornfield, right?
Yep. Because Officer Ricks goes after him.
Yeah.
One last time, and our old buddy, fucking Dumbo, the farmer,
bigger kid,
who does all of the like stuffing of Sawtooth with the candy and hanging him up and making his head and everything.
Yeah.
That guy has like he has one line in the whole movie where he actually talks, and it's here at the end. But he's just like the helping hand essentially of every single year. That's his only purpose.
Right.
Is to like bury the guys in the ground. But so he shows up, Rick shows up, and Richie's like, all right, this is it. If I don't come back in 10 minutes, get on the road. And so I love and hate the ending of this movie because it gives you so much hope.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the whole point. It's supposed to be
that's the whole point. And
take the wind right out of your sails, dude, because Kelly.
Yeah, which is so sick because of the decade and the time and everything.
I know.
She's the one that ends up winning, essentially. But so they're walking down. Rick's got Richie, and he's walking to the burial site. The place where Sawtooth gets hung up after he's been planted and everything.
Right.
And Rick's going on and on about how he's like, I respect you. This has been fun. it's this thing we got to do every year. No hard feelings. I'm sorry. And then Richie just still has his gun and turns around and shoots him. And so Officer Ricks gets got, which we love.
Yeah.
And
finally.
Finally, after how many years has he been doing this, So he puts an
forever.
end to that.
Yeah.
And then Richie finally breaks down, which is the thing that fucking kills him. He should have just ran back to the car.
I know. I hate it when characters do shit like this, man. Like
I'm just like, dude, just get out of there, man. Like,
it had to happen though, right? I mean, it has to happen in horror movies that the person always waits too long or goes the wrong way or just doesn't do what they should have done, because that's the only way it's going to work. It sucks that he got gotten, dude, because I really wanted to see this kid escape, and I wanted to see Kelly escape.
I was
really
rooting. I was like, man, they did it. They ended the curse. They got out of town. They're free, you know, and then it's half of them get free. Richie Dumbo gets him and kills him. Which also, I guess that's the process of how Sawtooth becomes Sawtooth. The kid gets buried alive, and then some process in the dirt.
Yeah.
The dirt's magical and like turns him into Sawtooth. Like that's crazy.
It's not explained, but I will say that there is something about this movie that is a nice surprise, and I do love. Right. So one thing we talk about here a lot is that sometimes there's no need to explain away mysticism. And you can kill a story, and you can kill the mystery, and you can kill any thought that someone would have when they're thinking about the story, right? You don't want to
Yeah.
give too much away. You don't want to explain things because otherwise it's uninteresting. And
Right.
there's so many movies and so many series and so many like IPs where they've done that it just ruins the original film or it ruins the story. And they don't do that here.
No.
They don't
No,
try
and
to explain
honestly-
it away. They leave it up to the audience to try and figure out why things are the way that they are. And I appreciate it.
And that's what I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Like the things in this movie they just are. And that's it. So it really kind of leaves it up to imagination a little bit, you know?
I'm glad you picked this movie because this is one that I don't think we had on our list, right, Mike?
No, we didn't have it on.
We didn't. And if you hadn't said something, we wouldn't have done it. And I'm glad we did because I would love to turn more people onto this movie.
It's a great movie. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's so sick.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's got the folk horror aspect in that there's weird townspeople and there's a weird ritual that they do yearly and there's this whole lore behind it. But it's a creature feature because of Sawtooth. And it's like kind of a slasher, sort of.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not really a slasher. Maybe just more of a creature feature. But like, there's so many elements to it, and then also like the commentary on like American life.
Yeah.
You know, especially in the '60s.
The racial divide, the money divide.
Yes. And the class divide,
yeah.
and all that, and then trying to, you know, like what you're willing to sacrifice when you're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it all, the black girl gets away, and it's 1963. Like,
yeah.
I feel like every rung to this story is crazy.
Oh, everything was touched, and they did it really well. I think more than anything, though, this film, just every scene, every shot, everything that you see in the movie was thought about, and it was put in a certain way that kind of was beautiful. It's a little bit like. It's a little bit like, you know, Nosferatu or any of those recent films that came out that are kind of art films.
Yes.
They really do make every scene count. Like, it's not just haphazardly thrown together. Every angle's thought about. Everything is beautiful to look at. And that makes a horror movie so much more interesting to watch. There are so many horror films where it's just like dead, gray, colorless, boring bullshit the entire fucking movie.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of gore, and I can't stand that shit. It's refreshing to watch a movie like this. So
totally,
yeah. So thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah, man.
Is there anything any of you guys want to say about this movie? Anything else?
Go watch it.
Yeah, go watch it. I think we forgot an entire post-credit scene that would happen.
Oh shit! There's a post-credit scene. Get the fuck out of here, dude! I didn't know that.
Oh, Matt, did you not watch that?
No.
What? Yes,
okay,
of course.
Okay.
Because
Right.
what happens is you see a montage of going by where slowly Richie hanging on this thing as a scarecrow turning into a Sawtooth, and then Richie's father cuts him down off of the
holy
thing
shit! I
Richie
missed
falls
this.
before, gets up a Sawtooth, and the Richie's dad just tells him burn them all. So
burn it all down.
Burn it all down.
Dude, I completely fucking missed that part.
This is what actually makes me believe that there is some kind of ritual with the stuffing of the candy that has to happen for everything to go down right. Not entirely sure how. What I assume from this scene is that because his dad cuts him down too early, he's just going to send Sawtooth after the entire city. What is going to cause total fucking havoc.
Okay. Yeah, I completely fucking missed that. Okay.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, they don't stuff him with candy. That's right. Which is also cool because it's redeeming for his father, right? Because his father spent the whole movie completely busted up and broken. That he sacrificed one son because somebody dangled a new house and a new car and a bunch of money in his face. You know what I mean? And so he spends the whole movie like trying to protect Richie from going down the same path, but can't do that anyway. So I feel like, yeah. Thank you for bringing this up. I completely forgot about it. This is his way of maybe even ending the cycle again, or maybe this is how the cycle ends.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, somebody's got to burn it all down, right? Like I hate that I missed this. This is kind of like the whole moral of the story. If there are things going on in a society that are wrong, like if you don't do something about it, you're just gonna become part of the cycle, dude. That is a great moral.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah. Burn it all down, stop it, do whatever you can do. If you don't speak up, that implies that you're fine with it. And that's kind of the way I look at things. Like if you're a bystander and you walk by and don't say or do anything about something bad that's going on, you're basically no better than the people that are doing it. So yeah, good moral. Dig it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cierra, thank you so much for coming on. This has been one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
Oh man, thank you so much, dude. Both of you guys.
Yeah. Thank you a
I
lot.
love the
Yeah.
fact the fact that you're really into the movie and that you really liked it too. Like this is something that we don't always get. Like if a guest is really fucking into a movie, that just makes it so much better. So thanks for being cool. Thanks for bringing this movie up, and thanks for talking with us, man. Seriously, can't thank you enough.
Yeah, thank you both for having me. Like this has been really rad. I can't believe we're already like 3 hours in and it doesn't even feel like it, you know? So like, I think, yeah, that's a testament to a really good time and a good conversation. And I think what you guys are doing is important, you know? I'm gonna tell everyone about your podcast. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, and if you know anybody else that's a metal musician that you think would be into this, send them, dude. Send them. We'd love to do it. Yeah. And go check out the movie. Again, check out Oak, Ash, and Thorn. Check out Emasculator. If you're a metalhead and you love brutal death metal or you like pagan metal, these are two of some of the best bands in my opinion. And the live show is fucking awesome too. For Emasculator, I have not seen Oak, Ash, and Thorn, but if Emasculator comes to your town, go see him. If Oak, Ash, and Thorn comes to your town, go see him. And I hope we get to see each other soon too. Like maybe Midgard's Blood next year or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I'll send you the flyer for Oak, Ash, and Thorn's tour, and if any of the German cities are near you. Yeah. Yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to see you then. If you're anywhere near us, we'll be there. But thanks a lot.
Yeah,
and
totally.
until next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Cierra.
Yeah.
See you guys.
See you guys. Bye.
All right, bye, y'all.
The blackest dies. The darkest dies. Simply